6:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. It's clean-out day for the Tennessee Titans at St. Thomas Sports Park after the Titans fell to the Jaguars 20-16 on Saturday night. It was the Titans' seventh straight loss, kept them from winning the AFC South and securing a playoff spot. Mike Vrabel's press conference scheduled for 11:30 today. Meanwhile, it's Black Monday around the league as the Houston Texans have fired Lovie Smith after just one season as head coach. Bit of an important game tonight in college football. The college football playoff national championship game. Number 1 Georgia taking on at number 3 TCU. Kickoff this evening set for 6:30 at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. And to women's hoops yesterday, the Lady Vols defeated Vanderbilt 84-71. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Monday edition, and welcome to the off-season, friends. On our own, Kayla and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Our final reaction Monday of the 2022 season is also the first show of the off-season. 7 losses in a row and an AFC South championship for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow. They'll play on Super Wild Card Weekend. The Titans will clean out their lockers today. Alongside Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer, making the show happen.
The best producer in the world!
I'm Will Bowling. 615-737-1045 is our phone number, and we believe many of you will be using it this morning.
I'm tweeting out right now. All right, y'all get in here. Let's hash this thing out, Will.
Yeah.
You said did you say the only, off-season show? I'm thinking to myself, no, we're going to hash this thing out for a very long time, William.
It's going to take a while.
It is.
It's going to take a while. There's a GM to be hired. There's a situation with what players you're parting ways with. I know everybody's got Todd Downing on their mind.
Yeah. Oh.
My Twitter timeline, since they lost, we've been hearing this all season, but since they lost, every single comment is like, have they fired Todd Downing yet?
I know. Kayla,
this has not happened yet.
It's not happened yet, but today, Will, also, you didn't announce this one, but it's known as Black Monday, baby.
It is.
Whole lot of darkness going on. We've already heard a few jobs that's going to be up for the taking anyway. Houston.
Yep.
Love you with the double.
Yeah, it's Groundhog Day.
Yeah, with the double Bud Adams to the organization as he dropped the number 1 overall pick. We saw that one. Salah, I think Cleveland's head coaching situation. You got Arizona. You got the Rams. Oof. You got a lot of movement. And Will, Kayla, depending on who you listen and talk to, some people want Vrabel out of here.
Oh,
I'm just going to throw it out
went
there.
We're really going to give those people oxygen at 6:05 this morning?
No, we're not. But
you just did.
You know what?
I needed this right here.
You're going to hear it. You're going to call in with it.
And you're going to hear it from more than fans. I heard Adam Mortensen yesterday.
Get out of here.
Say that, just pop the idea out there. And I'm going... He's like, well, I mean, possibly maybe Vrabel would be. I'm going, wait, what? And then they threw it back to Sam Ponder and the guys, and they're all like, okay, well, we just heard that.
What? Yeah.
I hate it here. 615-737-1045, our number. Not only an offseason that begins today, but reaction to a 20-16 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it is hard to lose a football game when you hold the opposing team to -1 yards in the fourth quarter. And that's exactly what Jacksonville was able to do on Saturday night. And Trevor Lawrence played far from his best game, and it didn't matter on Saturday night against this Titans team because of a couple turnovers. But -1 total yard in the fourth quarter, and Jacksonville is able to win this game.
That I did not see this going this way. I knew it was going to be highly contested. Night games at almost any venue is going to be like this. That crowd in Jacksonville was rocking. I told you guys, I was at dinner watching this game, and I'm in there actively cheering for the Titans, and I hear other people in the background too when big plays are being made and stuff like this. You say what you want to, but there's a bigger portion of this fan base that wanted this Titans team to win this past weekend.
Absolutely.
And that's where I was siding it. I wanted to see them win. I wanted to see them beat this team because I knew one thing for sure. Jacksonville, if they ever get control of the driver's seat, they're going to be hard to knock out of it. And for those reasons right there, I was saying to myself, you got to get this one. Does that mean everything moving forward? No, but it does kind of set like it really sets a floor for what Jacksonville is expected to do moving forward, considering where you find yourself as a Titans organization. It's very fragile in a lot of different reasons right now, and we got a laundry list of things that's got to happen this offseason. And I feel like we got something every day when it comes down to this team moving forward.
And the biggest thing is, like, you go into that game, and you're right, you could see momentum shifting towards the future between these two franchises, because when you look at the Jags, they've been bad enough for a long time to pretty much have their guys in place, and they're still building. But the biggest thing is they've got their quarterback in place for years to come. And you know the NFL, we all know the NFL, it's built around that QB. And they've looked like they've got their solid guy who we all thought would probably be that.
Right.
But we had some question marks last year because of the non-growth part of it because of Urban Meyer. I mean, that whole season was a disaster. But now you look at the Titans who played their absolute butts off.
They did.
Let's not take anything away from that. Like, that was a good game. And for a chunk of time, I'm like, I feel good about this Titans team.
I did too.
I feel good that they can win this game. And then it was all coming to the one play where Dobbs
checked down.
You know.
And before that, though, you had penalties that set you back. Throughout that game, though, you have something good happen, and then there's a penalty, and then there's a holding call, and then there's something silly that happens in that offensive drive. You're 100% correct. They drove and made plays. Then you get a holding. Then you get a legal man downfield. There were so many things that had you feeling like this team is snake-bitten when it comes down to them winning that game. And then to hear the guys afterward. There was a lot of heartbreak in that one. And you brought it up when you came in, specifically Jeff.
Yeah.
If you ever want to know the level of commitment that he has, but also other members of this team and just across professional sports too, that man said something I don't think he necessarily needed to say in those moments other than to, pull the curtains back a little bit to let you know what he and probably others have been dealing with. This man said, I've been getting my ankle shot up since week 8.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, you know more than anybody, Ramon, what goes on in those locker rooms. That's intense.
That's intense.
Yeah.
That makes me question a lot of things, but it also just has me just saying, get it, man, security. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a business at the end of the day, but who out here that you know is going to be getting their ankle shot up week after week after week to play a game this violent and this physical?
And I said, look, I wouldn't be surprised if he has to have surgery in the offseason on it.
It wouldn't shock me. There's some damage done somewhere. I just hope he's smart enough moving forward. This needs to be Jeffrey Simmons last year doing something like that.
Makes it even more ridiculous that people wanted to cheer against that guy and cheer against the entire team. When you talk about guys having responses like that.
That's the bigger point.
Can't with that.
Right.
No. And it's not a, hey, woe is them type of situation. Yeah,
No.
They lost 7 games in a row. That don't help either.
No, it doesn't.
No.
You think they like that, though?
No, they don't. They don't. That's tough. And of course, the never-ending headline this offseason for the next week or however long it takes, maybe, if it ever happens.
Okay.
TD.
Yep.
And not Teron Davenport.
And
Todd Downing.
Okay.
look, and I feel like
Sorry about that. Well, you was a little lost right there. That's
I
on
have no idea where you're going.
And if they part ways with him, the fan base clearly will be happy. If they don't, I don't know what this fan base is going to do because they are livid.
I mean, we're not going to act like Vrabel hadn't stuck behind this guy before and it paid off for him.
He
Shane
has stuck
Bowen.
behind his guys before.
Shane is one of those guys. Where would you say this Titans defense is other than personnel? It's played well.
I feel like we might need to revisit that, though, because the Titans had one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL this year. Like, I don't know if the Shane Bowen thing is as big a victory lap as it used to be, guys. Like,
No,
it was in
you're not
2021.
100% wrong there.
But I know they've used a lot of players, but ultimately that's this coaching staff's fault now, too, because they've done it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
This defense is not as good as I think we thought it was. I mean, this defense lost 7 games in a row, too.
Yes, they did.
The run defense is there.
Yeah.
But the pass defense, and with the quarterbacks you have now in the league, and you have the worst pass defense in the league, that's not going to
We got a lot of issues here, huh?
A lot of things to unpack this morning. It's 615-737-1045. We take many of your phone calls as the show continues this morning. And we talk with John Glennon of SI.com as well at 9:20. We'll recap the Jacksonville loss and really look back and do a first analysis, first run through of kind of what doomed this season and why today is an off-season show and today is not a show talking about Super Wild Card Weekend in Nashville against the Los Angeles Chargers. A team, by the way, you almost beat a couple weeks ago.
Would not have been the worst matchup, right?
A matchup that really wasn't all that bad. Probably the best one, actually, of the teams that you could have seen going into this weekend. So, 615-737-1045 is our number. We begin with Mike in Clarksville when we come back and begin the final reaction Monday and the first off-season show of 2023. That's next. Son of Bone, Kayla, and Will, 1045 The Zone. Hey, it's Will Bowling here from my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center, the hearing care provider in Middle Tennessee for 40 years. And listen, I get it. It's so easy to put off your hearing challenges, and it's hard to know if you've got an issue and you need to get it checked. Well, Brentwood Hearing Center is going to make this easy. Maybe this is a resolution for you, right? You're finally going to take care of those hearing challenges that maybe friends and family members mentioned to you around the dinner table during the holiday season. Maybe you're having trouble just hearing the person across from you, a spouse, a friend, or coworker at dinner at a crowded restaurant. Well, those are just a couple of the signs you may benefit from hearing aids. And Brentwood Hearing Center has the most advanced technology on the market. They'll get to know you, pinpoint the places you're having the most trouble, and offer an individualized solution that's perfect for you. Right off the Brentwood Old Hickory exit on I-65, give them a call at 615-377-0420 or visit them online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. That's Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing, better life. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors right here at 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling with you on the phone lines at 615-737-1045. Jonathan Schaefer making the show happen as we begin Reaction Monday for the final time this season and get ready for a pretty crazy offseason that begins now.
Yeah.
Woo.
Now.
And we begin with Mike in
Let's go.
Clarksville. First up, good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, RKW. What's good?
What's up?
Yes, good morning.
Man, y'all got it in the best producer in the world. Can't forget about you. I know they do, man. I hope you're having a good morning, brother.
The best producer in the world. You get him going. You get him going.
Craig. Yes. Keep getting the Craig part, man. But here we go. Off-season is here. You know, I was on the couch. I was cheering. I had my Titan stuff on. You know, it is what it is at the end of the day. You know, it's just good to have hope.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in the off-season. You know, the one thing, a lot of things need to be addressed, but we know the main thing is the OC. And you know how the NFL goes. If this man goes in the next year, we 0-5, you know they fire the head coach first.
Yep.
You don't want to fire him. So it's some decisions that need to be made. You know, Robert Woods, you got Ryan Tannehill, you got Bud DeFree, you got Taylor Lewan. So it's like, those are 4 key guys, but, you know, you're going to have to make decisions to free up money because if you let Big Jeff walk, that's not only letting A.J. Brown go, now you let our best pass rusher go. So at this point, you might as well let everybody go and just go ahead and revamp this entire squad. If you're going to ride behind Elite, then surround him with everything he needs. If you're going to go with Josh Dobbs, then surround him with everything that he needs. But right now, you know, fan base, we're upset, but we made it through. You know, I'm glad I didn't have to pay $360 for a playoff ticket. They're going to charge my account automatic. So I saved some money there. But at the end of the day, man, it's still tighten up. But they have a lot of decisions to make. And we know if the OC is still there next year, you're going to have a lot of pissed off fans.
Yep. Thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's just that's the pulse of Titans fans. Whether it's phone calls, social media.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to keep your powder dry a little bit, too, on Todd Downing being fired today.
Yeah, I think they're just literally counting down the seconds.
Why so? In
I
that
think a lot
situation, you just
I don't think that's the way Vrabel.
Yeah, that's
operates.
not the way, from what I've experienced.
Just wondering for sure. I think of course they have to do exit interviews, which coaches for the most part get that done super fast. I've had an exit interview with a coach, and 3 days later, no, I had one situation. I had the exit interview with the coach my rookie year.
When does that happen, real quick?
You can start as early as today.
Okay, so a day after.
The day after, because most time guys, there's no allegiance to the city most of the times whenever guys live in other places, so they want to get back, go see their families, or just escape football for a while. So this exit interview situation can be, all right, you can announce it after the game. And it was a late game, so probably starts this maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is how they'll probably do it. Most times coach will be like, hey, fellas, we'll get back into the city. We'll have a meeting tomorrow, and then you can start setting up your exit meetings with your coaches. Some coaches, let's say the meeting's at 1 for the players or the entire team to come together. Some coaches will start their meetings that day. It'll be starting on Tuesday morning from 8 o'clock all the way throughout up until Thursday. Most teams will require undrafted guys, rookies, free agents, and soon-to-be free agents to mandatorily meet with the coaches also. I think that's also important to kind of say. So guys who are up for a contract, if you are a rookie, if you are a free agent, if you are a guy that, needs to just talk to the coach, you're up and you must go talk to him. And from that point, like a guy like Bayer, he may come in on a Thursday to do his exit meeting because why? I know I'm going to be on the team and everything kind of lines up for him. So I'd probably say maybe this evening, but definitely Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, possibly some on Friday just to get a plan on moving forward. And the idea, like I said, me having my exit meeting with a coach, I had it with him at about 12 o'clock on a Wednesday. About 3 o'clock that same day, he was fired. So weird to actually talk to him about my plans and what we were going to do going into the next year, and then he was gone.
Yep.
So I could see that type of stuff happening. I do kind of agree with you in the sense that, look, they may be slow to go on letting Todd go if that is in their plans. But what's more important, Vrabel's staff or the fan base's opinion of what's happening out there too?
Listen, I think the theme of the offseason is going to be anything is possible. Anything is on the table for this team and for this organization moving forward. Todd Downing staying as the offensive coordinator is one of those options.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it might not happen today. It might just not happen.
Yep.
Like, Todd Downing, very well, there is a very realistic possibility where he's your offensive coordinator again in 2023.
And what do we think about Craig Ackerman? Because I'm sorry, the special teams has not been it.
Yeah, they kind of let go of the rope a little bit this year, haven't they?
I mean, if
Yeah.
Shane Beamer wants to look at Michigan, like, how would he feel about being a special teams coach in the NFL? Okay, sorry. Obviously, that's not going to happen.
I'm not trying
Yeah.
to pick at people, but my goodness, I think we haven't talked
Enough
enough
about special teams.
that particular.
It's been bad.
I agree with that. 'Cause that's a lot of hidden yards, and Jacksonville got a good bit of that this past weekend too. And
Second
just
straight time against the Titans where Jamal Agnew had long
Crazy.
return.
Yeah.
crazy, man. So yeah, that's up for discussion too. And the thing about special teamers is you usually getting those types of players anyway. Like, yeah, you want to have your core guys, but you're really getting linebackers that don't play, skill guys on offense that don't really play, and you get a D lineman or two. So you're getting a band of misfits anyway. So you got to be able to coach those guys
Oh,
up.
yeah.
And if you're missing assignments consistently like that, that is an issue, man. And again, but as fragile as this team was this year, that is not okay to give up that much hitting yardage when you got guys on defense that can't really stop a nosebleed throughout the season too.
615-737-1045, the number. Angel is in Clarksville up next with us this morning. Hello, Angel.
Man, good morning, man.
Good morning.
Yeah, I know it's over with. The only thing I gotta say, look, I'm just doubling down on what Mike from Clarksville said. We smart in Clarksville, so the only thing I can say is if Todd Downing is back, after all the damn 3rd and 2s I seen with Derrick Henry sitting on the sideline and running it with Haskins, man, look, I'm not so sure if I'm going to be able to renew my season tickets next year. And then I might have to wait till we just in the new stadium, man, because, God, as much as I love my boys, I thought the DUI was the icing on the cake. Like, hey, we like your Todd, but, you got that DUI, so we got to let you go. We ain't got a choice. If that man, y'all are opening the door for that man to be the OC next year, man, there's going to be a lot more empty seats in the damn house.
Yeah.
I love y'all. Let's start this off season. I'm heading to work, and I'm dreading it. I'm dreading it. Y'all be easy, man. Tighten up.
You too, man.
Drive
Be
safe,
safe.
Angel.
Appreciate it.
Tighten up.
Sports have a stronghold on people, don't they?
That's a fan. That's a fan with season tickets.
It is.
The play with Todd Downing that drove me absolutely crazy was the play right before Josh threw the interception.
Yes.
Because why are you calling that play on with Hassan Haskins? What was it, 2nd and 13?
Yep.
Something like that. And one thing I've griped about all season long is sequencing when it comes to Todd Downing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The very next play, 3rd and long, I looked at the defensive set and went, if Josh Dobbs is going to throw an interception, it's going to be this play. And that's exactly what happened.
The
And I
draw
thi-
play, it was,
and I
it was
think it
worse
had
called.
more to do with Todd's call the play before than Josh's execution on that play.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I think that was my first thought, too, when he used Hassan there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going, wait a second.
But to that point of sequence and how he's called the game in these last 7, let's just be real about that too. You're up against it. And my thing was I saw people, of course, charting where this team was just on Saturday for first down runs. Like, they're going to attack. Like, I'm sorry, Derek is him. He's that guy. But looking at how teams like really go at Derek is really wild for me to think that you're going to still run with him on first down. I had somebody hit me up, and I didn't really pay attention to it, but it was like, why is Jacksonville's linebacker so deep? And I started to look at what they were actually doing. Jacksonville linebackers understand, look, Derek's got to have time to get going. If I see him and his path, by the time he gets to the line of scrimmage, I can go get him down quicker. Instead of me attacking the line of scrimmage and allowing him to get past me. They played deep because they were just mirroring themselves with Derek and also challenging the offensive line, who's had their issues, to come to the second level to get him. I thought, to me, that was probably as big of a red flag as anything when it came down to running the ball on first down as they did.
Yeah.
30 reps, yes, he got over 100 yards for the game.
He did run hard, too.
He did. I will not take – I'm not saying Derek's not the guy, but I'm saying the creativity of how you set up the offense to where, like you said,
it's a feel.
Second and long, third and long is a very hard way to play ball consistently in this league. Like, you're really not helping yourself at all. And I've seen other teams that have lesser offensive lines too, or not as good as running backs, be able to move the ball on first and second down because why? They don't have Derrick Henry. Like, as big of an issue that you have trying to defend Derek, it becomes a bigger issue trying to create for Derek also.
Real quick, your initial.
And this ain't a knock on Derek either.
No, I know what you're trying to say. Real quick though, initial feel for when Dobbs fumbled. Do you feel like it was a forward pass when you saw it in live action? Mm-hmm. Did you feel like that was a forward pass?
I felt forward pass.
Yes.
Any other? I hate to play this guy, but any other quarterback I think gets forward pass on that one.
He said, "I'm a physics guy." And he's a smart guy. And he said, I felt like I was going forward. And that was my initial reaction, too.
When I saw them allow the play to go on, I was like, oh, they're going to keep it.
Yeah.
I knew it. Yep.
Yeah, I was surprised they, at the very least, didn't spend a longer
more time.
Look at that.
Yep.
On the review. I don't know. When I first saw it, I thought it was a pass, and then seeing him lose control of the football and push it forward versus throw it, it's a fumble.
I've seen that so many other times.
I mean, you have, and you'll probably see it again if Tom Brady does it in Vegas or San Francisco or wherever he's playing next year, and if Aaron Rodgers loses another clinching game in primetime and does it like he did last night. I mean, I do think that was a call that was based on who the quarterback is.
Yeah, same way that you can't really tackle guys in the pocket, certain guys in the pocket, but Dobbs got pile drived into the turf. I guess it's you got to earn your keep in this league to get those type of calls. But I'll say this, Josh delivering the ball downfield looked good. The offense had rhythm, I thought, through the air. Guys, again, of course, dropping balls, slipping and stuff like that, not a good look, but solid game for the guy. And then, of course, this is the other thing, too. On that last play where Dobbs checked down, I did see where Troy Aikman them replayed it back and said if he'd have just been patient and have some in-game experience to wait for, I think it was Traylon, to get open on the right sideline, I was thinking to myself, yes, that's fine, but you got to think he's been under pressure the entire time, too. Like that clock in which your offensive line is going to allow you to operate, that also played a part, and not just Dobbs, but of course Malik and Tannehill's progression of the offense some too. Protection was bad; it was not good. But they got to help themselves they got to help themselves with the way this offensive game plan is called too. Like you can't be second and long, third and long consistently throughout the game when you are primarily run first team.
They were so primarily run first that they had 24 first down runs and 4 first down passes in this entire football game.
I love to know the yardage on that one if you had it. Oh my gosh.
28 first down plays.
That's 24 first down runs. That's really just a settle in type of offense. Let's just see what we'll get. That if it's not working, that's just not a good look. 39 carries for 147 is what the team had in general. Had the longest run of the day was Derrick Henry, was 14 yards. 3.6 yards in average for him.
Well, at one point on those 3 passes, they had 40 yards combined, and on the other, I think it was 20 runs at that point in the game, you had the same amount of yardage. I mean, you were averaging about 1.5 yards per play on first down in this game. Yet the touchdown throw from Josh Dobbs to Chikakonkwo, which was a fantastic throw, was play action on first down, and they went away from it. And they finally, on those final couple of drives, started to roll Dobbs out of the pocket a little bit and move him on those options.
Yeah.
And then you get a holding call.
Yep.
That would move you back. Or a false start.
There's just been no rhythm.
Not at all.
rhythm.
No rhythm.
I know what a portion of this fan base meant by saying, look, they'd rather lose and not go into the playoffs. I don't think this team was good enough to go deep into the playoffs. We can say that. Now, I can say the same thing about the Steelers. Look, I'm not being impartial to anybody or partial to anybody. You probably deserve it. You want it. But to be good to go deep into the playoffs, man, that'd have been a headache. That'd have been more injuries. It'd have been more of everything. So I get where you're coming from. But also look at the way these guys played this past weekend. You got to kind of say to yourself, the spirit of winning is always there. And it's the idea that you want to go out and compete and dominate, you just shorthanded so much. Like, I don't think Jacksonville's that much better of a team at where they're at as far as their age, but they have a better outlook of it moving forward. And I think that's the portion of this that sucks the most moving forward with this Titans team.
615-737-1045. More of your phone calls as we continue this morning. But wanted to play the audio Ramon brought up in the first segment of Jeffrey Simmons talking in the locker room after this loss about the way he had to manage the pain of his ankle injury. Here's Big Jeff, pretty candid after this loss.
Hey, man. These guys in the locker room, man, I love them. No matter what, I want them to be on that field. I don't know what, I figured out this whole season what I could do, get better, but like I said, these guys meant so much to me, man. I just wanted to be on the field, hurting. I didn't care, so I'm a fighter, man. I'm a warrior. I'm gonna give it all to my guys because that's how much I love the game in this locker room, man. So I appreciate these boys so much, man. We'll find a way next year to be better as a team, and we're gonna figure it out.
There's Jeffrey Simmons, about as candid as you can get after this loss on Saturday.
Man, if that doesn't hit you as a fan, like having a dude like that on your team, sorry.
That also makes you say, GM, team, front office, y'all got to do more too.
Absolutely.
He loved those guys because they fought together. They battled together.
And there was never a question that they didn't.
No. This right, hearing that, it sounds like somebody lost in the desert. Like, you got to get answers. There have to be answers going into the offseason.
Kevin Byard said it himself. There are a lot of questions to be answered, period.
That's what he said.
Yep. And everything is on the table for us to discuss at 615-737-1045. We'll get to more of your phone calls. Get to Lee and JT coming up on the other side. Next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 1045 The Zone.
It's home show season, and Window Nation is bringing the home show savings to you, where you can get 0% interest financing for 60 months. That's 5 years, no interest. Plus, 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. All of this without leaving the comfort of your home. Why? You can go to windownation.com/home show and try their free virtual visualizer. Just upload a picture of your home. Yes, your home, and view hundreds of window options. Or you can call 866-90Nation or go online again at windownation.com/home show. And why Window Nation? Well, you can save up to 30% on your heating bills. You can increase the value of your home. And if your windows are sticking, drafty, cracked, hard to open or lock in when they close them, you need new windows. I'm telling you right now, that winter blast that we had about a couple of weeks ago, you should know right now if you need new windows. And in Tennessee, I'm telling you, there will be one more of those winter blasts, I promise you. And why Window Nation, too? They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and I wouldn't be endorsing this company if I didn't have complete trust in them. They have the experience and credibility. The number is 866-90Nation, or you can go to windownation.com, where you can pay no interest for 5 years. Plus, you buy 2 windows and get 2 windows free from windownation.com. There's no limit. You save thousands on your new windows and your energy bills, all while upgrading the look and feel of your home. windownation.com.
Here they come. Dobbs looks. Hit as he throws. The ball stumbles out. It's been picked up by Allen. He'll return it for a touchdown for the Jaguars. Allen has just returned the Dobbs fumble for a touchdown. As they are going to look at this certainly, but they are going to rule it was an empty hand at least initially.
There's the play that begins the offseason for the Tennessee Titans, a 20-16 win for the Jacksonville Jaguars on Saturday night. And we begin off-season programming here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 is our number. And we go to Lee in Nashville. First up, good morning, Lee.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
I think that replay was perfect for what I wanted to bring up. It's no secret. I mean, Ramon, you played the position. I mean, Dennis Daly, I'm not putting everything on him, but ever since he came into the rotation, I mean, that's just a glaring turnstile of a left tackle. I mean, that play doesn't happen to Dobbs if he holds his man, right?
Yeah.
Even if you get a holding call, hey, take the holding call, put it away, and make them earn the win instead of just giving it to them. But there's a lot of holes in this team. There's no doubt about it. But they gotta find a way to. I think losing the game, the loser mentality, but they lost it. It's probably better that they did because they're going to need the draft capital to rebuild this team. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you got to get another wide receiver. You got to get shore up the offensive line. Ben Jones probably won't come back. He's been long in the tooth for a while and has battled through a lot of injuries. But he's probably not going to be back either. I mean, he's the leader of the offensive line. So Taylor Wan won't be back, right? I mean, the contract just doesn't equal of what he's been doing the last few years of, unfortunately, just being injured. So it's a tough one, but they got a lot of work to do, man. But I think Vrabel is the right guy to lead that charge. I have full confidence that he can be the guy that can hopefully pick the right kind of guys to be depth guys, not only starters, but depth is what really really came to focus this year because we just didn't have the depth to step in for a starter and really maintain that competitive balance. But that's all I got. You guys have a great day.
Thanks, Lee. Appreciate the call.
Yeah.
I'll just let me correct that. That sack fumble wasn't on Daly.
Right.
That was either a corner blitz or a safety blitz
Right.
off the edge right there. They had one extra than what the Titans could block at the time.
Right, Daly was engaged.
No,
there was
he
nothing
was-
he could do about
Right.
it.
He was
nothing at all.
engaged. I was going to let Lee finish his point, but that wasn't on Daly just because it's off the left side.
I'll say this, too. I mean, Dennis Daly wasn't really the problem on Saturday.
No.
You didn't have that one moment where he gave up a quick sack, really, the entire game.
MPF gave up a quick sack
Yeah, he did.
off the right side.
Sure
did.
Yep.
But there's no excuse. I'm not making an excuse for it. He's a rookie. This group got to grow. And as Lee said, how many changes are you going to have there this offseason?
By
That,
4.
that line is disintegrated.
Yeah.
Ben,
NPF.
I think Ben's got to
NPF.
retire, right?
That's it. Ben's definitely
Yeah.
done.
Ben's done.
No
Taylor's
way.
gone.
Taylor's gone. Daly's gone. Aaron Brewer, what do you
Yeah.
do? You move him in?
Yeah.
He's depth. Right guard, Nate's gone. Maybe, unless he decide to do a deal here.
I don't know about that.
I doubt it.
I don't know if he's going to stay.
There's a very real possibility you have 5 new offensive linemen next year.
Yeah. But guess
6'1"
what? You could have had a couple
You're right.
if you made the right draft picks. I'm just saying.
That's
615-737-1045, our number. Michael next up this morning on the show. Hey, Michael.
what's up, Mike?
Hello.
Hey,
Good morning.
How you doing? I called you guys before. I'm calling from London. Just a torturous night, if I'm being honest. I mean, I had to wake up at 1 a.m. to watch this.
Oh,
And where do you start? This is like watching a bad film. So first of all, there's no way Vrabel can keep the OC because he's got to be complicit in this. If you're going to stick with your man, you've got to obviously respond when things are not going well. I think after the DUI, we've lost every single game.
we have.
yeah.
Talking about positions, yeah, we need a lot of. I mean, there's so many people that need to be changed. But obviously, you don't have a lot of money. That's the other issue that we all have.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is, I mean, I know we're all fans, but at the back of our mind, do we really want to win that game? Why do you want to win that game just to be battered in the next game? It's a mess, and I just think going forward right now, I mean, I know you guys are down there and you've got a lot of clout and you know a lot of people. The fans' passion has got to be communicated somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a joke, but I just think hopefully, I don't know if we need a new quarterback. It's definitely not going to be Malik. I think Dobbs is good at best as a backup.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you watch other teams play football, there's so many other teams that scheme different running backs. We're wasting the best years of Derrick Henry. And right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he packs his bags and says he doesn't want to be there. I don't know how many years he's got left.
Yeah.
So I just think that whatever happens, Vrabel has probably got another year to fix this. So
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's what my thoughts are.
Appreciate the
You're not
call.
wrong.
Michael, thanks for the call, man.
Hey, hopefully the Titans will be
That's
in London
awesome.
next year.
That's right.
That'd be huge.
Michael, that'd be great.
Michael, call in anytime.
I got my
That was
passport. Here we
awesome.
go.
That
Yeah.
was-
Get mine renewed.
Hopefully we'll be in London if the Titans go to London
That
next
ain't,
year.
that wasn't London, Kentucky. That was London, England.
That's right.
12:50 p.m. there.
My man said Vrabel is complicit if he don't let go of him.
Well,
Magic Mac just asked on Twitter, did Prince Harry just call in? No. This guy sounded much better than Prince Harry.
that was fabulous.
Prince Harry needs to be quiet for a little while, man.
man.
At some point, I
He's
want
airing
Michael
out
to
all
call
his
in and
laundry.
talk soccer with Ramon.
Hey, you know
Ooh.
what?
Yeah.
I told my kids this weekend, hey, you see that logo right there? That's our new soccer club.
Yeah. By the way, hey, Prince Harry.
How deep I gotta dig for you to pipe down?
For real. Harry,
Maybe
tripping.
Prince Harry has frostbite in the chat. That
Man.
always
Dude,
comments
that's
on-
what happened when you're controlled your whole life. You
True.
break.
Anyway.
Break.
Lots of good points, though, from Michael and what he has to say that we'll get into coming up next. And the offensive coordinator discussion. Will the Titans' offensive coordinator search begin today on Black Monday in the NFL? We'll discuss coming up next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone.
It is 7 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. It is clean out day for the Tennessee Titans at St. Thomas Sports Park after the Titans fell to the Jaguars 20-16 on Saturday night. It was their 7th straight loss, kept them from winning the AFC South and securing a playoff spot. Mike Vrabel's press conference set for 11:30 this morning. Meanwhile, it's Black Monday around the league as the Houston Texans have fired Lovie Smith after just one season as head coach. The Cleveland Browns fired defensive coordinator Joe Woods. The college football playoff national championship game tonight. Number 1 Georgia taking on number 3 TCU. Kickoff set for 6:30 at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Women's hoops from yesterday. Lady Vols over Vanderbilt 84-71. For foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
It is disappointing to lose, but it is the right thing to do. The Titans end the season on a 7-game losing streak, fighting valiantly, but falling here in Jacksonville tonight, 20-16.
Hour number 2 begins on the first off-season edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, I am Will Bowling. Our producer is the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer, making the show happen.
The best producer in the world.
Of the world, Craig. The world.
615-737-1045, our number on Black Monday in the NFL, where the Houston Texans have gotten the ball rolling. Lovie Smith out once again, and it's Groundhog Day in Houston as they look for the head coach, and we'll see what other moves get made before the end of our show this morning.
And we talked about Lovey kind of being the guy to maybe reset the culture a little. That's, I think, all you thought you might get from him, and it appears to be the case.
Yeah, that was, man. To have 2 coaches back-to-back years be fired after 1 year, that's a whole lot of exit pay that you got to give up a little bit. I think, what was this, Cully? He was $17 million. I'm sure Lovey's real close to that, too. Just to say, hey, we're always evaluating, that is a lie. That's a bad organization right there. Indy got to go through their situation, and as far as head coaching search, but the Titans and Jags game this past weekend, man, I'm really interested to see how this offseason is going to go for the Jag, but most importantly, what is it going to look like for this Titans team with so many different answers, so many different questions that have to have answers. You got some talent. You got some bright spots.
Sure.
But I don't think it's too shiny.
More questions than answers right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
615-737-1045, our number. Goody Mike in Cleveland. Here we go. Up next this morning. Hello, Mike.
What up? What's going on?
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. I was, Friday. What was they calling me? They was calling me Gunner Mike. That was like I'm gonna sell the squad out for a candy bar and a Coke on First 48. They was like trying. One day, y'all will learn to listen and trust me when I'm giving this Titans advice. Now, look, I hated seeing Jacksonville celebrate. It made me sick to my stomach. Like, I hated seeing it. But, look, for the years I've been calling, I've just been keeping it real. I'm going to keep it real. It never should have got to the point. That game should have been a gift for the Titans. That should have been a rest game for the starters to lead going into the playoffs. So that's why I wasn't interested. The moment the Titans fired John Robinson was pretty much like, to me, in my eyes, was the end of the era. We have no identity. We've been trying to figure out what the identity was for. I mean, it took two seasons of Derrick Henry
to figure out, okay, Derrick Henry is our identity. Now that's not it. That's not gonna cut it. It could have been passed on to A.J. Brown, but we traded A.J. Brown. So we are literally, I think Titans fans really, we all need to wrap our heads around this is a rebuild, and this is going to take some time, and it's going to hurt. It's going to be ugly. We might see Jacksonville go into take the AFC South for another year maybe. But if you a true fan like I have been from what 99 since sixth grade, we're going to be right back in that position. And we still going to be better than the Colts, and we still going to be a better organization than the Texans. So, we got bright side.
There it is.
We got bright side. But let's be real. This is going to take time. This is going to take some real dedication. We got a head coach, but we got to find our identity. And right now, we don't have it. We ain't had it. And the front office, they got to do better with these injuries. Shout out to Tannehill for staying in there with his brother. I feel like Simpson, shout out to them boys, man. Thank y'all for what y'all done did. I'm always going to scream tighten up, but, let's rebuild, let's update, and let's go out here and let's go take the South back. That's it. Deuces.
There it is.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate the call. Mike will be an active participant for the offseason. Active on the 53.
Yeah.
Yes.
Despite being out on IR for week 18.
I'm trying to figure out when he's going to be designated to return, man.
Yeah, practice window can't open for 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
Real quick question. You were talking about exit interviews. With guys that are currently on IR, do they stick around and continue to rehab, or do they go on their own to finish?
It could be either way. If it's one of those situations where you got a training spot back home, then you can train there. You just got to come in for physical checks and stuff like that. I've seen guys go on IR early in the season, never see them whenever the surgery's done, because let's say they live in Arizona. They go rehab in Arizona, and I'd probably see them around October again. Man, I forgot you were even around the team. So
can I mention one thing about that then?
Yeah.
The one thing that you do always, again, this is a rebuild in many eyes for Titans fans, but one thing you do appreciate this year is I saw a whole bunch of guys that were on IR this year that were around the team as much as they could be.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a positive sign about just the culture still being there, because that's right now, there's not a lot that fans are positive about.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're around the team, and Taylor Lewan's one of those guys too.
It's stuck around?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Good. I just looked at this injured reserve list, y'all.
I know, it's long. Real long.
I forgot some of these people were even on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Jamarco Jones, I don't think ever played.
No,
did he not?
Never did. Wow. I mean, we heard a lot from Lawan on ESPN broadcasts and podcasts while he was out.
Well, you know what? To be fair, you have that freedom as a player, though.
You do, of course.
I'll give him that.
Not criticizing the freedom. I'm saying that.
Be around.
But he was supposed to be a depth guy.
Right.
Yeah.
On a line that clearly didn't have a lot of that.
Didn't have any, man. Elijah Moden couldn't get off. Kyle Phillips couldn't get off. Dylan Ravens
Elijah
went
came
back,
off and then went back on.
Right back on. Terrence Mitchell, Harold, Jamarco, Ben, Chris Jackson, Cody Hollister. When did he go back on?
Cody went on once and never came off.
Yeah. There were plenty of guys that went on the one time. Yeah.
Deshaun Hand. God, dog.
A ton.
615-737-1045, the number. John of the Borough up next with us this morning. Hey, John.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, Ramon. Good morning, Kayla. And good morning to the best producer in the world.
The best producer in the world. Oh, I'll tell you the truth, man. We starting off 2023 with Shafe getting all the love and flowers, man. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
This is going to be the most important offseason I can recall in all of the years that the Titans have been in Nashville. I think that obviously Downing has to go. That's a coaching change we're going to have, and I think we need to reevaluate our strength and conditioning program for the reasons you guys just listed. You guys just listed off 15 different names of guys that are on IR.
Yeah,
and I get that it's easy to get hurt in this game.
it's a tough game and it's a hard game and people get hurt all the time. But it just seems like the last couple of years we have stayed with our biggest guys on IR, and I think that's a failure of strength and conditioning. And then also too, I think we need to pay. We've got to pay Big Jeff, and we've got to do something about that O line. Ramon, I'm almost tempted to just say, man, it's time for you to suit up.
Oh, we've been saying it for weeks, yeah.
Yeah, they have been saying it for weeks. I just counted
Thanks,
the
Sean.
number 2, 23 guys on IR to end the season.
That is unreal.
Yeah. And Jeffrey Simmons could have been one of those guys, too, considering what he told us after
Maybe
the
a
game.
couple more of them.
Yeah, a couple other guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think him and Autry both, if you had the same rules as last year where you could bring an unlimited amount of players back from injured reserve, Jeffrey Simmons and Danico Autry both likely would have gone on IR at some point.
I think even Fulton.
Probably Christian Fulton, too. Amani Hooker.
Yep.
Again, I mean, there are a number of players that played through things because they weren't able to come back if they hadn't.
Yeah.
Because the Titans had to use so many of those IR returns earlier on in the season that then the general wear and tear of having an early bye week comes into play. You don't have the margin for error then to counteract that later on in the season.
Yeah.
So Jeffrey Simmons had to play since he injured his ankle in week 8.
Traylon went on and came off.
Yep.
I mean, that's another body that went to IR. And I do think John's right in there. I think it's fair to question what is the training habits like inside that building. What are the rehab habits? What's the culture? You know, like, again, everybody deals with this type of stuff, but the Titans the last couple of years have really dealt with it way more than anybody else. So if you're competent enough, you got to kind of say, what are y'all doing over there? Again, I think there will be a self-check, or there should be a self-check from this organization. Say, hey, where are we in comparison to Seattle? Where are we in comparison to the Jaguars?
Sure.
As far as our overall health, I think that's okay to do a self-check. What do most teams do in the offseason anyway? They say, you know what? What's our weaknesses? Where can we be better? Let's be real with ourselves. You do that in your relationships. You do that in school. You do that everywhere where the self-checks have to happen, because this, more than anything, doesn't help when you have no players for a guy like Todd Downing, for a Shane Bowen, for Coach Vrabel to say, hey, we need to compete. Why aren't our guys on the field longer or as long as other teams?
This is a must for Amy Adams-Strong
Has
to
to be,
reevaluate.
Kayla. And this is another thing. Training staffs are hard to get rid of because there's a level of trust that you have with those teams or the managers. Like, equipment staff, from all I've ever known, the equipment staff at Tennessee, University of Tennessee, has been there since I was ever born. You know what I'm saying? Like, they forever are, because the level of trust and operation to the front office, to the players, to the coaches remains the same. So if they're not going to get rid of them, they have to evaluate them and say, where do we need to get better?
Sure.
615-737-1045. We'll get to Stanley on the phone lines first up after the break. Much more of your reaction this morning as the Titans fall to the Jags and the offseason begins in the Music City on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 1045 The Zone. Hey, it's Will Bowling here for my friends at Lee Company. And if you are a business owner or facility manager, it's more important than ever to ensure that your facility is ready to increase capacity. You need to assess your equipment and systems, evaluate indoor air quality, outline new cleaning procedures, and review options for implementing touchless plumbing and electrical fixtures. It's a lot of extra stuff. Well, Lee Company can help you with that. They have been in the facility management and maintenance business for decades. So put their facility management expertise to work for you. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or contact them online at leecompany.com. That's 615-567-1000. Let Lee Company help your facility management. And online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need.
Play fake. Dobbs looking, firing. Okonkwo catching. Let's see that signal. I got it. Touchdown, Titans. Chig Okonkwo. A little wheel route. Oh, yes.
Big play, Chig, with another big play as the Titans fall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But, man, things were feeling pretty good at that point. 10-0. Jacksonville silent like it typically is. Changed in a hurry in that second half. Ramon, Kayla, and Will is powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling with you as we go back to the phone lines. 615-737-1045. Stanley leads us off next. Good morning, Stanley.
Good morning.
What's up?
Morning.
Yeah, doing good. Yeah, I was just calling about the play calling. To me, when you're running maybe one of the best running backs in the league, and you're putting them up against a brick wall on first downs every time, it's hard to evaluate a player in those situations. Instead of passing, even if you don't complete it, if it's 2nd and 10, maybe they don't expect to run on 2nd and 10, and you can run against, maybe not 8 players lined up against to stop the run. Seems like their Titans are playing against different rules than every other team in the league because they've got 2 downs to make 10 yards, where all the other teams have 3 downs to make 10 yards. Mm-hmm. So it's like tying one hand behind your back, from the first kickoff. And, so that's all I got. That's all I got. Thanks.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thanks, Stanley. I'll take it one step further. They've got 1 down because the amount of times they run so poorly on first down and then the times they don't succeed on second down, they're running tight end screens and draw plays to third-string running backs on 3rd and long. They're not even trying to go down the field.
That's tough.
And you know why they're not trying to go down the field is because of the interception that you threw in the fourth quarter that led to 3 points that cost you late in this one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that part of it makes sense. But the point is correct that early down failures is one of the biggest things that doomed this Titans team all season long. And it's only right that it doomed them in this game with 24 first down runs and 4 first down passes in this entire football game.
That's called being predictable. And I'll say this too. Derek is great for this offense. Derek is great if you want to play bully ball, but there's also a bunch of defensive coordinators and players in this league that enjoy that type of play too. Like, it doesn't help Derek that other teams know that you're going to run the ball more times than not on first down. It doesn't help Derek when you know you don't have the offensive line that you need to actually get a push and move the line of scrimmage. And when I say move the line of scrimmage, I'm not saying you're going to see this OL move them 5 yards back. No, winning the line of scrimmage in the NFL is a yard or 2. That's it. And Derek doesn't get that.
Right.
Teams wait on that. They salivate when they see Tannehill, Dobbs, Malik turn around and give the ball to him. And then on the other end of that, if they do decide to play action, have a play action play, guess where you're going? To a tight end or a drop down 5 to 7 yards down the field. And that's not a really good offensive play scheme. And the other thing, again, it's awesome having Derek. But you got to be able to craft up plays in which he's not the focus point the entire time, or have a running back tandem. That's okay.
Right. And that's what you saw under Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
Was a little bit of balance. Yeah, it was always run for, that was the mentality of this team. That's what it's been built around for the past few years. But I felt like there was a little more balance. But altogether, it was just a little more feel for the game in terms of the play calling on the offensive side of the ball. Because Derek is Derek. And I know a lot of people are like, Derek's old. Y'all, Derek is likely to finish 2nd overall in rushing yards this year. He could have probably, like you said, been used a little bit better.
Yeah.
He was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you can really pin that and blame on Derek.
Will, you said something, though, on the break, man, that was kind of telling. You said, do we need to go this route as far as what's going to happen with Todd Downing?
What do you mean?
You said there may be a portion of this, there may be part of this offseason where he's not.
Where he stays?
Well, I was going to ask you guys the same thing.
Go ahead.
is Buck has already made the point that he believes there's a strong possibility Todd Downing is back. And I'm sure today he'll have the same conversation on his show after us. At the end of the day, this is Mike Vrabel's team, and this is Mike Vrabel's scheme on both sides of the football. In y'all's opinion, what are the odds that Todd Downing is the offensive coordinator in 2023?
Honestly, knowing Vrabel and his, kind of loyalty to his staff, part of me thinks that he could stay, and I know that's going to anger fans a lot. But then a lot of me is like, what other choice do you have? Just because you saw no improvement, if anything, they went backwards in terms of production. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think you have to let him go. But Vrabel's very loyal.
Yeah. And in my humble opinion, I know it's going to get people rolling. I could see more of a scenario with them staying than actually going. And I say,
and why do you say that?
Because it's so much change and turnover. As far as you need at least 4 offensive linemen. You're transitioning on quarterbacks. I don't know if Tannehill's going to be here. I've been saying I think Tannehill stays here. Okay, but I do say at a portion where this may just be a complete rebuild. And how much of this rebuild do you want to change? How much of it do you want to, when you know you're not going to have your pieces? So the Titans, as this stands, I think have the number 11 draft pick. At that point, the quarterbacks that you potentially want to be your franchise guy is probably gone. So where are we building at? Are we building at corner first? Best available? Is that tackle again? Is that a wide receiver?
Or are you trading up to get a quarterback?
How much are you willing to do? What's the new GM's philosophy that we got to deal with? It's like there's a lot that goes on.
There's so many. I've never covered a team like this that has so many question marks that could go either way. That's the biggest thing. You could go either way with several of these situations. And which way's right?
Let me say this. With the new GM, I say he's gone. I do.
Who, Todd?
Todd Downing. But I don't know what Vrabel has up his sleeve as far as retaining his guys. I say he's gone because everything now moving forward is dependent upon what the new GM is going to do and what his philosophy is going to be.
Right.
There has to be somebody, in my opinion, that has to say, you know what? We're transitioning out of this. We've tried it for years. This run first, bully people, not going to work as much as we thought it would, okay? Mm-hmm. Unless you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Not going to work like that. Moving forward, you got to transition out of this style.
Then did you say bye, Derrick Henry?
I think you can still keep Derrick.
Okay.
I think you still can keep Derrick because you're cheap everywhere else, especially if you let go of Tannehill. I can see you letting go of Tannehill. And also, what's going to happen now that Chicago has the number 1 pick with Justin Fields? Is that a trade value situation?
Down?
Yeah, it could be a Josh Rosen situation before the Cardinals went and got Kyler Murray.
Zach Wilson may be out there.
Ooh.
I'm just saying in general, like whoever it is may be a bridge guy because I don't see this team picking a quarterback at 11.
Here's the thing with Mike Vrabel and Todd Downing. You have the free will that Mike Vrabel has had to not be affected by what the owner wants when you've only ever had winning seasons. We say it all the time. Amy Adams-Strunk is not going to meddle in what Mike Vrabel wants to do. Mm-hmm. That's true until you lose a little bit of that goodwill and you go 7-10 and you lose 7 games in a row. Right. So if you lose a little bit of that goodwill, does it change Amy Adams-Strunk's dynamic with Mike Vrabel going into this offseason saying, Mike, I've let you do your own thing because you've only ever been successful here. Mm-hmm. You've taken us to an AFC championship. And I sent the message from Amy Adams-Strunk perspective that this issue that we have, the biggest problems we have are personnel related, not coaching related. That was the clear message that Amy Adams-Strunk sent.
That's true.
When she fired John Robinson.
Right.
When she did. So does she double down on that and say, Mike, this is all yours? Or does she go the opposite direction and say, you know what, Mike? I will admit that personnel is an issue, but when you lose 7 in a row, you lose the freedom to completely fix this your way on your own. You got to get a different guy at OC.
You know what I think instantly when you say that? Texas A&M, Jimbo.
He finally had to get an offensive coordinator.
Finally had to let go.
Yeah, he finally had to let go. You're right.
But you don't have the oversight of one person or even a GM and a head or and an owner that's dictating your decision in college.
But I still see the command of, look, we need results. The fact that they've given him the keys to the car for so long, Vrabel that is, we need results.
Yeah.
I know for sure. We've heard this too. There's been coaches here in this franchise that's been let go because they wouldn't fire other coaches, right? Mm-hmm. We know that to be true, whether it's rumors or whether it's fact. That's out there in the air. So why would she not say, hey, you got to start listening to somebody else at this point? That coach, we saw a coach of the year in Doug Peterson get let go in Philly after winning the Super Bowl. Vrabel ain't that bulletproof to me.
615-737-1045, the number. Chris calls in from California this morning on the phone lines. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, everybody. Man, there's some positivity today, even though it's hard to find. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Hey, Chris.
We need your Cali sunshine.
Let's get some sunshine over here, Chris.
Oh, no, it's doom and gloom everywhere. It's San Francisco in the winter. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that's true. True that.
Very nice.
Hey, Ramon, listen, I heard you get a little jealous about the Schaefer love earlier, so I'm just going to say this for you, all right? John Davenport's the greatest reporter in the world.
You know what?
No.
We're all striving, man. I'm trying.
No, I'm one of them big dudes, too, man. I'm a fan. But, hey, I'll get to it real quick. I'll get off the line because we need to talk about this. Everybody remembers Delaney Walker. That guy was a staple and a lunch pail guy that showed up every day, got paid, and worked for the state of Tennessee. Now, I believe, and not a lot of people remember this, he got buried behind, I believe it was Vernon Davis in San Francisco as a blocking tight end, and then got to shine here. Give me your opinion on it. I think Chig is our Delaney Walker in San Francisco, and we got a chance to have this guy for a decade. And then on top of that, I love the fact that Vrabel is getting the shot he's about to have, and Amy basically just opened the checkbook and said go, because that bear's going to the table. He's coming out mad, baby, and it's going to be fun. But, hey, y'all are as good as it gets. As long as you sign big jets, everything will be all right on D. Y'all have a great one. Big fan.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
And he's right that Chig Okonkwo is the biggest part of this team that you know is going to be around long-term on offense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like one of the three guys who's totally safe on this offense.
Big positive right there.
Safe guys to meet Chig, Hassan,
Treylon Burks.
MPF, Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
I would put Burks second on that list as far as who's the safest on who's here long-term.
Right.
Treylon Burks has had a pretty good rookie year.
I think Treylon's your best
You
offensive
just wish
weapon
he was
moving
out there
forward.
more.
Except what the hell was that thing he did throwing the ball up in the air the other day? Did he think it was
and
fourth down?
that was, I mean, that was the play.
Yeah.
It just
Wait a minute. That was the play?
Mike Vrabel confirmed that postgame.
Confirmed
That was the play
That
call.
was the play call.
For him to throw back.
But
yes.
That's insane. That's criminal.
That was it.
I didn't
That's
hate the call.
no, that play gets people fired.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't hate it.
I'm telling you, that's stupid.
Got to try something. I mean,
that's the problem.
Derek had a similar one too.
Yeah.
Where he was falling down and
yeah.
Lions did the same thing last night too. Similarly, they didn't throw it across the field, but a little pitch play, yeah.
That's safe said. That gets you fired. If you got to pull straws like that, you got to pull from the pot like that, then yeah, you scrambling.
Well, you just got to recognize
they were scrambling.
Yeah.
You can't throw it as you're falling down.
No, and
Like,
that's
you gotta
what
have a little
exactly.
awareness. Right.
That was not how it was supposed to actually play
And
out.
why am I asking a rookie who's played 9 games to do that? Again.
He's the only one that can get
and he
open.
actually got a little banged up after that.
Yeah, he
if
did.
you guys saw him get up.
Jeez.
Because of that groin,
Reminds
he got
me of
twisted
the
a
Denver
little.
game.
Yeah.
Bringing in Malik Cole off the bench. To quote Brian
You're
Arakpo
not
from
wrong.
back in the day, what are we doing out here, man?
Yeah.
What are we doing? If that was the confirmed play, that was insane.
It was.
Yeah.
The confirmed play.
615-737-1045 is the number. Chris is in Murfreesboro up next with us this morning. Hey, Chris.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. So about that confirmed play, you cannot run a lateral play on a team that has wide receivers that cannot get separation.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And that right there, they should have went over to Tom and said, "Give me your headset, go to the bench, sit down, think about what you have done." If Vrabel won't fire him, then it is time to let Vrabel go. I think Vrabel's a good coach, not a great coach. I think we give him freedom because our strength and conditioning coach, and we've had 800,000 people on IR, so we give him a free pass like, he's staying competitive. We've got to get away from this Jeff Fisher 2.0 where we win by 3 points or lose by 1 point. If we lose by 1 point, it should have been 100 points. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But we've lost to Houston. We've lost to Jackson. We didn't look good against Indy in the first game. We don't have a killer instinct for a coach that is Vrabel's mentality. He's like the little kid you see in the preschool that's playing that wood block game where you put the circle in the circle block, you put the square through the square hole. He's got the square and he just pounds the damn thing through the circle hole, and he's like, "That's what we're going to do." He's a stubborn mule. It's time to move on. Either if we don't get rid of Downing, Amy will see a large number of fans stop coming to the game, and it will become a financial thing. And this is a business, and when Amy starts losing money in the stands, she will start making some changes.
Yeah.
So, thanks for taking my call, guys.
Thank you.
So I set the over-under before the show at 7:25 this morning on the first Fire Vrabel call of the offseason. 7:36, if you had the over, please collect your winnings at the pay window.
Now, he did say if he doesn't he didn't say just right out of the gates. So let's put that in the middle there.
Mike Vrabel's not free of scrutiny.
No.
But he's also not anywhere close to even being on a hot seat. Fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think he's on a hot seat.
Yeah,
I think the point is what he's saying is if you're going to go down with him with what we've seen on the field, then you deserve to get the same boxes that clean out your office as Todd Downing does.
Yeah, and I don't think he can't be on the hot seat this year. I mean, I guess he can because it's the world we live in. But Amy had pretty much a choice. I feel like who do you part ways with, and she parted ways with John Robinson.
Yeah,
like you're not going to then go, hey, you're out too.
Yeah, a lot of this moving forward is going to fall on Vrabel's plate.
I mean, this next year,
yeah, I
think is after that it could be.
Especially
You're not
if they
safe.
go, I'll say, especially if they go in-house with a GM too.
Yeah.
That's
Which right now we haven't heard anything, right? We haven't heard anything about who they've talked to or anything.
It's begun.
615-737-1045 is the number. More of your phone calls coming up next. Lots more to react to off the Titans offseason beginning earlier than we may have expected. Coming up next, Simone K. Little Will, 1045 The Zone.
Damn!
You don't have to go through yet another year with that knee pain or back pain. People with chronic joint pain are getting real lasting relief from QC Kinetics. Has Ramon Foster, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. Their unique protocols use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restoring damaged joint tissue so you can move again. Listen, it's no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. You have shoulder pain, excruciating hip pain, or if you have any arthritis pain or lingering pain from an injury, don't let them operate on you or give you more steroids and say no to the pain pills. Call QC Kinetics and see if their life-changing, all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in this new year. I'm telling you, people are raving about these treatments. This is the future of joint pain management, and appointments are available as soon as next week. You can call today, as a matter of fact. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. QC Kinetics in Nashville, Clarksville, and Murfreesboro. And you can reach out to them at 615-249-4024. Again, the number is 615-249-4024.
Finishing up hour 2 on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. Yeah, that sound is basically describes the vibes in Music City this morning. After a 20-16 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling on the phone lines at 615-737-1045. Dante is up next this morning with us on the show. Good morning, Dante.
Man, good morning, y'all. I love y'all. Been listening to y'all shit for the last 3-4 years. But here's the deal.
Appreciate it.
Downing's got to go, right? But here, I'm going to tell you exactly what we need to do. What we're going to do, we're going to ship Tannehill out there to the Raiders. We're going to trade him for Adams because Adams is ready to get up out of there. And so that's great for them. They get a quarterback. We get a receiver. We get Brady for 1 year. Give Dobbs and Willis a chance to learn from the GOAT. Because in my eyes, if Dobbs had as much time as Tannehill to work with our receivers, had an entire offseason, he looked just as good as Tannehill did with 2 to 3 weeks of preparation as Tannehill did with an entire offseason with the same receivers and a healthy offensive line. I say Dobbs is just as good as a quarterback. So we get a receiver out of Adams with the trade to the Raiders. We get Brady for 1 year. Let our guys have a chance to learn from the GOAT. We go out there to K-State. We get that 6'2" cornerback. And then we draft some offensive linemen to give our guys a chance to compete in the middle. What do you say? That's
Appreciate the call.
man.
Thanks, Dante.
Appreciate it, Dante.
I think the Brady ship sailed in 2020.
I don't think the Brady ship ever existed.
You know what?
There might have been some.
I think
might have been some talk behind.
I think they went looking at boats like I did. Yeah, I think they went
like
looking.
what intent not to really buy.
Well, I had intentions on buying, but then reality kind of set in a little bit on the boat thing.
Okay.
I think the Brady thing was somewhat real, though, Shafe. It has to be in some capacity.
I don't think you could rule it out just because of Mike Vrabel and Tom Brady's relationship at that. I mean, even just having that as a base of maybe some curiosity.
Where I'm at, too, with this quarterback situation here in town is this. If Tannehill's back early on and we hear that Tannehill they're committed to him, then you don't get Dobbs and you also don't get Malik either. Just simply because Tannehill's too much of a vet to be let go later in the season like that. I just don't see that being the case.
So wait, you don't get Dobbs or Malik as a backup?
Well, you get them as a backup.
Okay.
You don't get them as true contenders to start. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is that Tom Brady was looking at going to a contender in 2020, and if he's going anywhere else, it's on a team with a good offensive line and weapons in place that's a contender in 2023.
Probably California somewhere.
The Titans were in that position in 2020, and they're not right now.
Yeah.
The Titans are a team that didn't win the division and finished 7-10 and don't have clear weapons for him to throw to. And to be honest, he's going to cost you more than Ryan Tannehill is against the cap. And Ryan Tannehill had a better quarterback rating this year than Tom Brady did.
But it's Tom.
It doesn't matter now because that's not Tom.
I know. Well, what I say is they still right now. I don't think there's many NFC teams that kind of want to see Tampa Bay right now.
I think so.
With that being said,
really,
just my opinion on it. I think he's dealing enough, most passing yards he's ever had in a season himself, to where he gives you a shot.
Well, right now, Dallas sure doesn't. I mean, Dallas is not playing playoff football. So if they're going to meet with Tampa, I'd think that Brady and them have a chance with that situation.
I don't think Brady's coming this year.
No.
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 Yeah, I see Devontae Adams coming here before Brady does, and I don't think Devontae's coming either.
The Titans aren't in the position to get a quarterback that wants to win now. The Titans are going into year 2 of a rebuild next year. All these questions about, is it time for the rebuild? The rebuild's already started.
I don't even know where we start at, though, Will. I don't.
That's the thing.
I don't either. And really, until we know the GM, there's no way to know where that guy's going to start.
I mean, you got Senior Bowl in a month.
Yeah.
Right.
Where you got to start looking at guys for next year.
Where are we as far as overall cap money available, Will? This team is low.
Well, ask me again when you know who's cut, because they don't have a lot of room for 2023, but they
2024 they look good for cap, right?
They could save $17.2 million with Ryan Tannehill and start there. That's going to be
this offseason.
This upcoming season, yeah.
Yes.
They could save $17.2 million.
Well, my issue is the haste in which people want to throw Ryan Tannehill overboard, I think, is very short-sighted.
It's short-sighted, Shafe, but you also look at it and you say, how much further are we going to go with Tannehill?
It's not the point. Who else are you going to get that isn't basically
Right.
the same or less?
One of the guys you have on your roster and plan for next year again. You rebuild for next year
So,
again.
so you put Dobbs in there, who's not a number one starter in this league.
Dobbs or some wash-away vet, just being real. How much further do you want to go with it?
Tannehill is your equivalent of a wash-away vet. You have one more year, and then pretty much all that deal's gone after the next year.
I'd say it is price tagged of. You were looking to start rebuilding now. You do cut that and save that 17.
They're not looking to rebuild, man.
I agree.
Retool. I liked what AJ said on the chat.
They will
Retool?
not
Does
use.
that sound-
They will not use the R word. It's not going to happen.
I agree.
I mean, you can tell me we're not rebuilding, but I can also see that. And the way
I understand that. But it goes back, Ramon, to everything is wide open this offseason.
It is. Where do you even find 5 starters that you don't even have 3 of them on this roster right now as far as this O-line goes? Where do you find depth on the D-line when you don't even have that?
My initial feeling is that there may be a run-it-back philosophy that the only problem we had was the offensive line.
So you do
That's
see
my fear. That's my
fear. You do see Todd Downing being back then as far as stability goes.
What I'm saying is that that's another one of my fears.
Yep.
Because you have a head coach who stuck by Shane Bone a couple years ago.
Yeah, he did.
With the worst third down defense of all time. And that's not even hyperbole. Of all time, they retooled, brought new players in, that got better. The problem is now you have a terrible pass defense again.
Yeah.
Sure do.
If we go by the actions of the head coach from what he's previously done.
Yep.
All right, let's fix the offensive line. Let's run it back.
And I think in that scenario, you tack on a year to Tannehill's deal and spread out that cap hit on 2 more years.
To be less going into 25.
And you lower the number. No, you lower the number going into 23.
Okay.
You could save probably $10 million by converting some of that into a bonus and moving the numbers around. We will get into the details of that as the week continues, specifically tomorrow as well, with the way all that goes. Halftime of the show already, and lots more of your reaction coming up. John Glennon is at 9:20. Until then, we take your phone calls at 615-737-1045. Bam will lead us off on the other side as we go rapid fire on the phones after this as Hour 3 begins on 1045 The Zone.
Straight up 8 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. It's clean-out day for the Tennessee Titans at St. Thomas Sports Park after the Titans fell to the Jaguars 20-16 on Saturday night. It was their 7th straight loss and kept them from winning the AFC South and securing a playoff spot. Mike Vrabel's press conference set for 11:30 this morning. Meanwhile, it's Black Monday around the league as the Houston Texans have fired Lovie Smith after just one season as head coach. The Cleveland Browns fired defensive coordinator Joe Woods. The college football playoff national championship game tonight. Number 1 Georgia taking on number 3 TCU. Kickoff set for 6:30 at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Women's hoops yesterday of local interest. Lady Vols defeated Vanderbilt 84-71. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
And the show goes on into hour number 3 this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by all 4 Seasons Garage Doors. Behind the glass, making the show happen, it's the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer. You can talk to him. And then talk to us at 615-737-1045 with 11-year NFL veteran and Vol for life, Ramon Foster, journalist whose J is always capitalized. Kayla Anderson. I'm Will Bowling.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good people. We are here, man. What a time to be alive.
You missed when you were out there eating your pancakes.
Yeah.
Kayla going off about a situation here.
Kayla's ready to go, and you can watch the show on 104.5 The Zone TV on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch. And the people in YouTube watching the show this morning have Kayla ready up in arms a little bit.
I'm starting to pit out.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means, folks? It means I'm sweating.
Okay.
I'm sweating in here. Yeah, I got a sweater on, but it's still not very warm in here. Okay, so
Come on.
they brought up Roger McCreary. And look, the secondary has clearly not been great this year. They've given up the most pass yards in the entire league, and it has been severely damaged in terms of injuries. You have Roger McCreary, who has been one of 3 guys that has actually started all 17 games this year. Kevin Byard and Aaron Brewer being the other 2. And when they brought him in, he was a 2nd-round pick. They were in the chat talking about Sauce Gardner, who was 4th overall. Let's make that clear.
A dog.
And a dog.
Yeah.
But when Roger was brought in, I think their hope was to kind of have him, like Will was saying, as a 4th option.
Right.
And instead, you had Elijah Molden, who got hurt and played in 1 game this year, but did not start the year. You had Christian Fulton, who has been in and out of the lineup. Who else? Who were we? Oh, and Caleb Farley, who was a first-round pick, who just has not panned out at all. So Roger had been tasked with coming in and playing inside, outside, doing whatever he could. And I think he's digressed, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think that he was prepared for this, and that's not an excuse, but give him a little bit of leniency, guys, because he wasn't really expected to come in and do what he was supposed to do or tasked to do this year.
Right.
So I'm just going to, because they were comparing him to Sauce Gardner. I'm like, that's a whole different level, y'all.
That's like comparing
a whole different level.
It's like expecting Malik Willis to be Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Come on. Yeah, that's
I'm trying to paint the picture there.
Yeah, no, that's not it right there.
615-737-1045, our number this morning if you want to jump in. We go next to Bam on the phone lines with us. Good morning, Bam. How are you?
Bam?
Well. We made it to Black Monday.
Yeah, we
did. Unfortunately, but we're here. Let me say this, man, and I'm speaking for, like, I'm a diehard Titan fan, like, diehard.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I love Mike Vrabel, man, if he don't can Downing, they're going to riot, bro. Nobody is going to want to, I'm like, if Amy, something's got to happen, bro. We cannot sit through another mediocre year and we got all these talent and we watching the guys pour their hearts out in emotion. Like, man, Jeff crying almost made me cry the other day, man.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, why do we have to sit here and be tortured with somebody who can't, he's just not competent, man. He's just not. And it's like his track record. And now, as much as I love Vrabel, now our eyes are on him like, hey, bro, what you going to do about this? Yeah. Because Tannehill, when Arthur Smith was there, he made Tannehill look like Patrick Mahomes. All I'm saying is he's not going to – Tannehill is what Tannehill is. Everybody is – they are what they are. But it's like, how do you coach them to be the best? Todd is not that dude for this team to – I'm sorry. He's just not that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, now with the Shane Bowen thing, when Mike Vrabel let go of the defense and let Shane really do it, we saw a turnaround. Todd has completely just, like decimated this offense, man. And it's like, how do we believe in this dude when, honestly, I thought the league, and I thought it was rather weird, the whole DUI situation just went completely out the window. It got talked about for 2 days, and then it's like, okay, so you got all these strikes against you, a 7-game losing streak, a losing record, a DUI charge that just went absolutely nowhere. And everybody's like, you're so predictable. Man, my 5-year-old son can predict what's going to happen with Todd. Bro, come on, man. Like, something's got to happen, man. If he don't get fired today or at the top of I'm telling you, man, it's going to affect them in a way to where everybody's going to be ready to get rid of Vrabel. And then I don't see this as a complete rebuild. I think we can get the right tools for us to at least be in the conversation to win now. Tannehill's a great game manager. I don't say get rid of him. I don't even want to get rid of Hooper. But, I don't. It's so many, like y'all said, there's so many doors. I'm sorry I'm rambling, but I'm just like, I know Todd Downing better be gone. I know that. That's all I know.
Appreciate the call, man.
Day, man.
Thank you.
Can I say this? Because we're even back here going, there's so many doors to open, and you don't know what move needs to be made behind that door because there's just so many of them right now. But I think that's why fans also that's the easiest thing for them right now to say because it's been since mid-season, or maybe even before that, I should say, that's one thing that they want changed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing they know, right? Because there's so many other things that we haven't even talked about. But it's almost like until that happens, that narrative's not going to go away for fans.
Nothing else matters until it does. Yeah.
In this game, did the defense play well enough to win?
This game?
Saturday night against Jacksonville? Really?
No, I thought it was fair enough, Will, but, that game was more of an offensive turnover.
I think they could have.
Yeah, they did.
Because after Weaver's slap down, I was like, this could be it. Like, this could give the offense the opportunity to go down and really take the lead for good.
It was the 2019 playoff run, like to a T, the same blueprint.
Yeah.
And then the turnovers give Jacksonville 10 points in the fourth quarter, despite having -1 total yards.
Which is nuts.
I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars won a football game where their star quarterback didn't play well. They had 222 total yards. The strength of the game for them was third down offense. They were 5 for 11. They were 0 for 2 in the red zone. Titans are 0 for 1. And they had -1 total yards in the fourth quarter. And they won this football game. To me, that's the most disheartening part of this for the Titans is you got to deal with Trevor Lawrence for the foreseeable future now, and he didn't even play well in this game.
No, and he was kind of surprised, you guys, when they called that a fumble and returned it.
Yep.
He was surprised. He's like, oh my gosh, maybe we will win this game. I don't think he thought they were going to win that game because he knew he was playing like ish.
Mm-hmm.
If that play is a first down on third down and medium for the Titans, we're talking about Jacksonville having to start using their timeouts.
Yeah.
With 2:51 left of the game when Josh Allen returns a fumble for 37 yards for a touchdown. 3rd and 6 from the 35.
What's interesting, though, the structure of that play was good. Dobbs' lack of game experience definitely plays a part in it, but if you look where he was going and who was open right there, that was a completion waiting right there. I think his trajectory had it enough to where it was supposed to be over the defender in the flat. That was going to be a first down.
Yep.
And on top of that, the Texans and Colts might both get top 5 quarterbacks now in this draft.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have SEC and a former college football All-American quarterbacks all in your division and Ryan Tannehill.
So, Ramon, to your point, that's why I'm concerned that there's going to be a viewpoint where it was injuries. We didn't have our starting quarterback. Otherwise, we executed the game plan. We're running it back, just changing a few things.
Boy.
Yeah. It's a very real possibility.
I'm riding with that theory until I figure out who's the new GM, though, Shafe.
100%.
Yeah, I'm riding with that
and
theory.
And here's the thing. I'm not saying that's right.
Right.
I'm saying that's my fear as, I'm going to use the term, as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
That's my fear.
Yeah.
And there's some legitimacy to that.
Yeah.
One thing has to happen above anything else. That offensive line has to be completely rebuilt. Yeah. And as Jeff Schwartz responded to you actually on Twitter this morning, Kansas City did it in 1 year.
Yeah, they did.
That's true.
Cincinnati did it in 1 year.
That's very true.
Look at the pedigree and how long it took either one of those lines to get it done, though, too.
Yes.
You stole a guy in the
growth.
6th round and Trey.
Mm-hmm.
There was growth at left tackle because even Zeus Brown wasn't that good. Orlando Brown Jr. wasn't that good early on. They had to figure out their right tackle. So this will be a growing process.
Oh, no question. But this is where, sorry, Kayla, whiffing on Isaiah Wilson and Dylan Radins, at least so far with the Radins, has absolutely killed you.
Right. And that's what I always say time and time again. With those two situations, too, let's all remember who the quarterbacks are. Patrick Mahomes and
Yeah.
Oh, agreed. No.
Right? No,
that's
I'm just saying, like, they were able to probably cover up a little, mask a little of the growth.
Because of the quarterback.
Yeah. They also got to remember who the running backs are. Kansas City's not paying a running back. Cincinnati kind of is with Joe Mixon, but the Titans are the only team out of those three that has big salaries at quarterback and running back. That's less money for a left tackle or a left guard or a center or wherever else.
And that leads into the next question.
Right. What's that?
Who's staying and who's going?
Right.
Out of those two.
That's why when we have the conversation of who's most untouchable on this offense, we start with the rookie tight end who was drafted on day 2.
And a rookie wide receiver.
Day 3. And a rookie wide receiver. And maybe a rookie tackle, but I'm not convinced NPF is totally safe now either.
I think he is.
Oh, I think so.
I think so.
I think so.
And
You
year
can't.
one and year two,
Look,
I'm rolling with that one.
you
Not
can't
totally safe.
go away
At
from
the
that.
rate in which they've missed on offensive linemen, you finally got one that started 16 games.
But this is a new GM.
But I see playmaker out of NPF.
Oh,
NPF
but he graded
can
out
play,
fine as a rookie.
I was going to say NPF can play
the
in
run
any.
game.
I think personally he can play in any position, but the passing game is always the hardest to pick up. It is. Protections are always the hardest to pick up at any position.
NBF's smart too.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't help him either that he had rotating guards next to
I
him.
mean, you got to also think too. He came into the season expecting to be a backup.
I get it. Well, I don't think he did.
Well, it was Dylan
Well,
Radin's job to
Dylan and him,
lose.
they battled for that spot.
How real of a battle was that at the beginning?
I think it was a real battle. I
At the
remember doing
beginning?
a
It was
yes,
legit.
I did
I
a
thought-
preseason game where I was literally talking about that battle, and at the time, it was a battle.
I thought as a rookie he was going in to compete. I didn't think it was necessarily, he's about to go start until Radin's crapped the bed. That's what I'm saying. We're saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It ended up as it was, but I initially thought, he's just depth in his first year. That's what
I'm
I
saying.
thought.
No,
yeah. I thought it was depth in the first year, not starting, not opening day starter too.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah,
Same situation as
Taylor, that's crazy.
him and McCreary were in the exact same boat.
Yes.
They were brought in to be depth,
There
and
you
then
go.
the coaching staff quickly realized, we might have to start both these guys.
Which is why I say I think he's a starter next year. I wouldn't be shocked. Your best bet is to put him on the left.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Everything's on the table, and I trust your evaluation of offensive line more than I trust mine. I'm just saying it's possible.
No, I'm with you, but I think this roster's too fragile, Will, to make a move to get rid of another guy to pay somebody else.
Well, especially on the line.
Yeah. God, dog.
615-737-1045. We'll start with Chris in Dallas after the break and go rapid fire on the phone lines. More of your reaction on the final reaction Monday of the season. About Kayla and Will, 1045 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Craftsman on the Hill, one of the best bars around the Nashville area. Where is it located at, Mount? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's located 3424 Lebanon Pike in Hermitage. A lot of parking, so you can take you and your friends and everybody else you want to go there. And it's a great bar food menu that they have there, too, featuring the delicious smoked wings. They have everything else you can think of. Quesadillas, burgers, chicken sandwiches, tenders, and several homemade sauces. I'm telling you, if you haven't tried the white sauce, go try that, please. And of course, it's staying cool outside, and you can go pick up their smoked brisket chili. It serves every single day. And on Fridays, listen to me, you want to kick back, put your feet up a little bit, you can go sit at the bar or grab your catfish plate and head to the crib. Monday through Sunday, whatever you want to do at Craftsman on the Hill. Monday night is trivia night. They have karaoke. There's also poker tournaments throughout the week. Plenty of TVs to watch your favorite sports or sports team. Best part about it to me is locally owned and also operated with new management. Everything from your favorite beer, spirit, and plenty of nightly drinking food specials. Craftsman on the Hill, located 3424 Lebanon Pike in Hermitage.
It's Remote Kayla and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. Remote Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling with you on the phone lines at 615-737-1045, where the people have their pitchforks and they're ready to go. No doubt about it. We go back to the phones. Chris in Dallas up next this morning. Hey, Chris.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
This is actually my first time watching the show, man. I'm
Nice.
really liking it.
Nice.
Thanks, man.
Of course, being from Dallas, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. But in regards to y'all, the rebuilding situation that y'all in, I know that all too well down here. And I have a couple of things. Number one, I did not know that y'all was looking for a brand new GM, which for me is concerning as a football fan, just think about the grand scheme of things. You have to ask yourself, what does this GM like?
Right.
And is Mike Vrabel going to be in the room trying to see if, he likes him, or is the GM like, I don't know if I want Mike Vrabel? So if you have that situation on the ladder, if the GM does not like Mike Vrabel, usually when this happens, he gives them a year, and then after that, he cuts them. Because, y'all 2024 cap situation looks real good right now.
Yep.
And for any GM, that's what they like. Because now I could bring in all the groceries in 2024. But if you don't like him now, and him being Mike Vrabel, do you let him go now and bring in a couple guys, get ready for 2024? And my second point is, does the rebuild have anything to do with the strength of your division? Now, of course, us being in the NFC East, all the teams are gunning to outdo each other every year.
Yep.
You got the Houston Texans, are who they are. Jacksonville surprised everybody due to the state of y'all division. And, of course, Indy is one quarterback away from being back what they were. I'll hang up and hear my response.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate
Good
the call,
call,
man.
and thanks for tuning in for the first time.
I think that part of the question is relevant because what's going on around you in the division is noteworthy. And the fact that you've got Trevor Lawrence already in the division, you might have Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or Will Levis or whoever else.
What's the Houston and Colts picks again?
Houston's 2, Colts are 4.
Okay.
Wow.
So 2 of those 3 quarterbacks are probably in your division next year. Or Derek Carr in Indianapolis. Because as long as Irsay's calling the shots, who knows?
You just never know.
Yeah, you never know.
It's a mixed bag.
I look at it, though, from the GM side, as the caller just said, like, what is it going to look like?
Yeah.
How far do you go with it? What's the rhythm? If they stay in-house, majority of what you saw, in my opinion, stays the same. It simply does. It's, if it's not Derek, it's going to be his son Haskins as far as the offense goes. And then what about the quarterback of the future aspect of it? Do we bring Tannehill back and you got really good backups and Malik and Dobbs moving forward? But he's right. If it's an outside GM, I almost think Vrabel's on the clock too with how he coaches his team. And say what you want to about that. That's just the business. Guys want guys that they can trust. Guys want guys that they can have partnerships with. And this is the portion in which this team moving forward now that we see what the projection, what the NFL is going to be. Even Dallas has a passing game, and they got 2 really good dynamic backs. You know what I'm saying? Like there's only one other team, in my opinion, that operates like the Titans do, and that's Baltimore.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's Baltimore.
Right.
And Baltimore's situation is different from the Titans because they have a guy that's mobile enough to create with his legs and Lamar Jackson when he's healthy, too.
When he's healthy.
And we don't even know if he's going to be there.
Yeah, we don't know
year.
that. And here, let me say this about that, because if we were just a fly on the wall, right? We all wish we were that fly on the wall in Amy Adams Strunk's office. Because the one thing I will say about hiring from within, which is definitely a chance that they do that, but maybe not so much as I would have thought in the past, because if Amy pulled the trigger on John Robinson, that was her guy.
It was.
That was her guy that she hired, and she picked him over Mike Vrabel, essentially, right? And I feel like she knows the situation they're in. And so if she doesn't think this is the guy in-house, then she's going to go out, and I don't think she's afraid to go look outside.
Yeah. This search has to be detailed. I think it's too fragile. You can wind up behind Jacksonville, and I do think they're better. I don't know how close the Colts are to being that good moving forward, but they do have an OL that was trash this year that you'd expect them to get back in line.
There's more just the quarter. I think that the biggest thing for them is the quarterback.
Yeah. Whew.
615-737-1045, our number. Dewan is in Hendersonville up next on the show this morning. Hey, Dewan.
What's up, Dewan?
Good morning. Good morning. What's up, little bro?
What's going on, man?
Man, I just think people got to really, I don't like Todd Allen either. But I want people to open their eyes. John Robinson gave that man a lot of bad tools to use. Ramon, you've already elaborated on it, very extensively on the talent and lack thereof on the offensive line. I've been saying this for a couple of years. Taylor Lewan robbed his blind, pulled up in his Boss Hogg costume, and rolled off with the bag. Then John Robinson also let the big fella go. That was Conklin. That was the right tackle. That was very good. And now he's just got another bag. So if a guy doesn't have a wide receiver one, he doesn't have an offensive line, how good can his product actually be? And I say that to say this, a lot of people piling on this guy, but his GM didn't really give him a fair shot either. Mm-hmm. And not saying he was good at all, but the head coach's philosophy is plodding football. Mm-hmm. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And if you don't get the 3 yards in a cloud of dust on first down or second down, then you're behind the sticks. Yeah. Also, the defense. Somebody needs to say this, and a lot of people haven't. Somebody got to examine the DB coach. Everybody that's brought in here is not that bad.
Right.
But if you look at them on film, technique is really atrocious. Mm-hmm. And also, footwork looks really bad. Mm. And that can't always be put on the player. It could be put on teaching and philosophy of that coach of that position group also. And that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
That would be Anthony Midget, who is secondary.
Midget. Appreciate the call, Dewan.
Yeah.
That they have also been, again, decimated by injury too. But yes, you're right. Some of those points you made are correct.
It seemed like every sector of this team that we want to complain about is either that or personnel.
That's what I said.
That's
open the door.
Crazy.
See what you're going to find.
It's freaking crazy.
Door number 1, secondary. Door number 2, offensive line.
Door number 3 is injuries.
Quarterbacks. Door number 4, injuries.
Well, but after 2 seasons, though, with this level of attrition, now you have a large enough sample size to where you have to completely examine what you are and are not doing within your workout routines, within your building, because no other team has faced this amount.
Right.
No.
And look, you're going to have injuries. You're going to have bad luck. That's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But to this extent over 2 seasons?
That's tough.
615-737-1045, our number. Steve is in Mississippi calling in with us this morning. Hey, Steve.
What's up, Steve?
Hey, guys. Love the show. All right. Titans fans, we all need to just relax just a little bit because Miss Amy told us she was not going to make a decision about the GM until after the Super Bowl. So I think our Black Monday is going to be a little later. It's going to be after the Super Bowl, and then we'll start seeing some things shake up. And I do think that I don't think we're even going to see Todd fired if they fire him until after the Super Bowl. I think she's going to wait till then to make any kind of moves. So I think we all got to relax and chill about that. But the one thing I will say about Coach Vrabel is I think he's probably one of the best motivators in professional football. The guys love him. He can really get the team going. But what seems to be his Achilles heel is working with other coaches. Let me just talk. I'll go real quick. Dean Pease. Dean wanted to come back and coach. We could have got him to come back. Something between him and Vrabel kept that from happening. I don't know why, because he and Vrabel were tight. And then Matt LaFleur and Art Smith both out of here like scalded cats. Sure, they got offered the bag, but still, why can't we keep a great OC? And then finally, my piece on Todd Downing. Todd, just one fact. Ryan Tannehill averages 11 yards per play on play action passing. When Art Smith was the offensive coordinator, we ran the most play action in the NFL. For the 2 years that Todd Downing has been OC, we run the second least play action in the NFL. That dude's got to go. Yeah. Thanks for letting me call, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks,
and
Steve.
The point about play action is the issue. One note to just kind of clarify there. Amy Adams-Strunk did not say she would wait until after the Super Bowl to hire a general manager. She said if there's a guy who is in the Super Bowl who we want, we will wait if we have to.
Okay.
But this is going to go quickly, I think. Because I imagine they've already got a
We're going to
list
start hearing stuff
that they want to talk to, considering they got out ahead of this before anybody else did. So, but a good call overall from Steve, for sure.
With the Kerry Combs thing, I'll address that really quick just because the relationship with Vrabel and him go back to Ohio State. I think it might have been more of Combs' call. He kind of missed the college game because he went back to Ohio State, was the defensive coordinator. Unfortunately, that did not work out as defensive coordinator there and ended up in Cincinnati. But I think it was more so his kind of call. I can't confirm that, but that's just sort of some of the stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they ran him out.
615-737-1045 is the number. Andrew in Portland up next with us this morning. Hey, Andrew.
What's up, Andrew?
Good morning. Hey, so a couple of things that I think a lot of people are emotionally reacting with that they're forgetting. Number one, the general manager, when the interviews take place, will be sitting across from Amy Adams-Strunk and Mike Vrabel. And I can tell you that neither one of them are going to be accepting a rebuild. You're not going to have Mike Vrabel being willing to coach a team that is intentionally losing in order to prepare for the future. And I don't see Amy Adams-Strunk wanting to do that either. So rebuilding overall, I don't think is a possibility. Retooling is an option, though. And I mean, like you guys were saying earlier, the Chiefs did it, the Bengals did it. Yeah, they've got a quarterback in Mahomes and Burrow. But I don't think that this team is I don't think that's out of the question for this team. You know, you redo the entire offensive line. You cut some big contracts this year so that we can have the cap space to retool the entire offensive line in the offseason. And then we focus in the draft on getting a better number 2 wide receiver, solidifying a few depth positions. It's possible. It's doable. And as far as Todd Downing, y'all have to understand, the man's going to be back. Schaefer has nailed it. He's going to be back. He's going to be back because last year we had 91 players injured, and he still helped us get where we got with the number 1 seed because why? He had an offensive line that was decent. So I don't think there's going to be a big shakeup. I really don't. I think that there's going to be some solid moves, hopefully, to retool this team and move forward to try to win the division and go to the Super Bowl like Mike Vrabel's going to try to do every year as long as he's the head coach. So that's what I got. I think everybody needs to keep their powder dry and understand the situation overall. See y'all.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate the call.
I have a take on this.
Interested to hear yours.
Excuse me. I think people are scared to use rebuild.
Well, yeah, in any franchise.
Now, I'm just going to call it this. This is a rebuild. And because this is the thing. If we're really trying to splice between saying retool and rebuild, I think there's a big difference between the two. Okay. To me, retooling is this. We have a good base of what we have as a team, as an organization, and we just need a few pieces around it to really make it go. I think that's retooling. I think that's Kansas City's situation. I think that's Dallas's situation to where they say we just need a couple of pieces here and there. I think that's, a couple of teams around the league that says, bam, we get this in place, we got that. I think this team is closer to a rebuild than a retool because of this. You got an aging running back that you got to make a decision on real soon, maybe next year or so. If you're retooling, that means that you believe Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback for time to be. And the most side of this fan base is almost saying we got one more year of Ryan Tannehill. So what does that mean? That means you're probably closer to rebuilding than you are retooling. And I'll just go out and say this. If you're retooling, that means that you're probably picking later in the draft again next year. Unless you're going after another free agent quarterback to come in and be your savior, you're not retooling. You're rebuilding, in my personal opinion. I don't think you can say we're doing retools when you saying there's an exit of offensive line that's about to happen. There's a quarterback that's within a year. That's a running back within a year. You got to find out where your corners are. You need middle linebackers. You got to figure out more help for Jeffrey Simmons if Tierra Tart's up this year. This, y'all, in my opinion, y'all push back all you want to. This ain't no retool. This is a rebuild, and I'm more on that side. If we're going to retool, rebuild, we're 80% rebuild than we are retool. It's 80-20 to me.
So when majority of the stuff that you said, and I hear that you said secondary and some linebackers, but I feel like it's a rebuild on the offensive side of the ball because I don't really think that it's much of that defensively. But if you want to just put the two together, yes.
Nah,
but
Kayla.
I just don't think you can look at the defensive side and say, oh, that's a rebuild.
No, I kind of defense. I see them getting more weapons and retooling. I say this, and I've been saying it. Jeff needs another co-partner.
Yeah,
he 100%.
Harold will be back.
Harold will be back, but even still, all right. Let's go to the other side. Bud,
yeah, he's gone. Right.
So that's another piece that needs to be refurbished, or put back in that spot. Yes. So that also means they're closer to rebuild. Middle linebacker, who do you trust other than David Long Jr.? Cunningham's gone.
Yeah.
100%. Everybody, this is more rebuild, y'all. And we not going to say it. If you got to go get a GM, you probably going to change offensive coordinator potentially. You also need other position coaches that's got to be moved out. It's all right to say it's closer to a rebuild. Again, if it's 80-20, I'm okay with that because this is all right. There's more of a portion to say if we don't have a quarterback for the future, then are we tanking to go get one in the top 10, top 5? Is that where we are too? Are you willing to go get Justin Fields, Zach Wilson? Do you want to go get Jimmy G? All those guys are replacement and almost non-proven guys at this point. Although Jimmy G has a resume, do you really want Jimmy G to be your franchise guy moving forward? Because then you're playing middle of the road ball in the AFC South when you got Trevor Lawrence and you're probably going to get a top 5 pick out of Indianapolis and in Houston too.
Yeah.
You're in the same position.
No, and I get when you look at the overall picture, I just think offensively, that's like the big pimple. And then defensively, it's like the little one that's coming up that you gotta fix. But that's a big old pimple on offense, man.
But I think that if you don't get ahead of this one,
to put it visually,
it's a lot of issues on the defensive side too that become that will become very fragile, Kayla, if it don't, man.
You've been rebuilding for a year already.
Thank you.
The rebuild started when you traded A.J. Brown. That's just my take on that. 615-737-1045. More of your phone calls on the other side. We'll start with Phil in Portland when we come back on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 1045 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson for Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Let me tell you, one of the best HVAC companies around. Their website is springhillac.com. They are the heating and cooling company. They can take care of all your HVAC needs, okay? Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is also a York Certified Comfort Expert company, and they are always backed by 10-year parts and labor warranties on York products too. Kayla, what you got for us? Because you met him recently, Kevin and his family.
Y'all, this is a great family. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, like I said, family owned and operated. That's because they've been in business for 10 years here. And when we say family owned and operated, we mean it. From Kevin opening the doors back in 2011, raised his whole family. Now his daughters are running the office, his son and son-in-law are running the on-site technicians. There is always a family member one phone call away. And they're here. They're not going anywhere.
And the best thing, too, that gives you trust. Because if they fail you, then they fail, okay? And this is it. If you need repair work, they offer free service calls with the repairs, plus low monthly payments on those repairs. And if you do need a new unit, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling offers 60 months, no interest financing. Plus, they can provide the financing for qualifying purchases and free estimates on replacement units. Again, go to springhillac.com and make sure you tell them Ramon and Kayla sent you.
Play fake. Dobbs looking, firing. Okonkwo catching. Let's see that signal. I got it. Touchdown, Titans. Chig Okonkwo. A little wheel route. Oh, yes.
Man,
I love it.
Things felt good right about then at 10-0. Dobbs to Okonkwo. Derrick Henry was throwing guys out of the club, and Josh Dobbs was throwing darts. And then negative things happened for this team. That's why we're in an offseason and not a playoff conversation today on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Jonathan Schaefer, the best producer in the world, making the show happen behind the glass. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling with you. And to the phone lines we go. Phil in Portland up next this morning. What's going on, Phil?
What's up, Phil?
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for taking my call. Happy Bud Light to all y'all today. Hey, listen, I didn't want to start off too early with a Bud Light. Some people can't help it early in the morning, but we live in a big city. You'd be surprised what time people start drinking around here.
Hey, come on,
5
Phil.
o'clock somewhere.
We can't be that way in Sumner County, man. We got to at least get 11 o'clock
Get off
in.
Phil's back.
Come on, Phil.
Leave Phil alone.
Get off his back.
He's a grown-ass man.
Hey, you can't tailgate in California today, but you can tailgate in Portland, Tennessee, by God.
That's right. And what stays in Portland happens in Portland, and what happens in Portland stays in Portland. Hey,
I love it.
Let me say this. I was going to go about the Jimmy G route, but I agree with Ramon. I don't think that's a solid choice right there. But I do want to say something about the training staff or the people that keep these players healthy. We're going to have to do something because, I mean, these players are dropping like flies. And I just wanted to see what y'all had to say about that, because when you're using all these record numbers of players on the roster, it ain't because you wanted to. It's because your starters are on the couch a lot of the season. So I just wonder what y'all think is going to take place with that. And y'all have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
I'll say this. There are a lot of things the Titans could still feasibly run back in 2023.
Okay.
You cannot run it back the same way in strength and conditioning and player health the way you have the last 2 years. On all of the list of bullet points that we have of things that have to change, the way you keep your guys healthy is number one, and I don't think it is close.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So let me put this out here, because this has been a hot topic of conversation. So does that mean right away, you're firing the strength and conditioning coach, or does that mean reevaluating?
Yes.
The entire strength and conditioning coach situation, the way they do things. Is that what you mean by that?
I don't have the answer on what it specifically means, and it's impossible to know what.
But
the
a thorough
exact
investigation.
answer is. But you can't do things the way you just did them for the last 2 years, because it's not about luck again when you do it for a second consecutive season. And we would have seen this team have 91 players used again had you been able to bring back an unlimited number of players from injured reserve like you could in 2021.
What'd they end at, 83 or 4?
Over 80 again. I'll reiterate this again. Most times we don't hear much about training staffs being let go because there's such a trust factor that goes into managing players. And there's also a difference in a regular doctor evaluating players as opposed to an athletic trainer evaluating players too. There's a separator in that. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, there's only one team I can think of that fired a staff, and I think that may be the Miami Dolphins. The only reason I know this because one of our trainers from Pittsburgh ended up going down there, and if I'm not mistaken, they let him go there too.
Gotcha.
So that's the only organization I can think of that cleaned house when it came down to that type of stuff. And they probably kept their head training, just moved some parts around them. Yeah. This has to be a study when it comes down to the Titans, like immediately.
An investigation
Like they have to reach out and not care what good ideas come from when it comes to talking to other teams about how they manage their roster.
Let's go to Caples up next on the phone line, 615-737-1045. Before we go to break, hey, Caples.
What's going on?
Good morning.
What's up, Capes?
I want y'all to flashback with me a couple of weeks ago when I called in. Y'all remember when I called in and I said the Titans was going to blame it on personnel? And like in 19 with Bowen, and everybody was calling for Bowen to be fired, and they was like, no, personnel, so they made all those personnel changes. The only feasible way I could see them justifying trying to keep Todd down is that personnel. And I just turned on the show because I was, asleep. I didn't hear it, but I think I heard somebody say Downing ain't going nowhere. That's a mistake, dude. You could whatever excuse you come up with. I mean, hey, even Ramon was trying to take up for this guy this year. It's just not flying no more. 24 runs on first down, and it's not about running on first down. It's the manner within you run on first down. You take your threats off the field. You take Burks off the field. You take Chig off the field, and you put in the run package. And everybody in their mama, even my wife, and she's versed in athletics, but she's not no football expert. Even my wife, who's a Steelers fan, if you didn't tune in Friday, was watching the game with me, and she was even saying, they finna run the ball. Look who they got in the game. Like, it's like elementary stuff with this dude. So Downing got to go. There is nobody on this God's green earth who can justify this dude still being here. And the second point I wanted to make is, Ramon, I think everybody when it comes to Titans fans, everybody's scared of that rebuild word because they flash back to like 2004, 2005, the Purge, when Derek Mason and Samari and all of our veterans got let go, and we didn't see the light of day until Malarkey got us in the playoffs. So how many years that was when we were in the dark? I think that's what everybody's afraid of a rebuild for. But we in a rebuild. The moment I heard A.J. Brown was traded to the Eagles on draft night, we knew rebuild was where we was at. The bad thing about it is I think health is really what stunted this team this year, health and Todd Downing. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Hang up
Thanks,
a
Capes.
Appreciate it, Cape.
Appreciate it, Caples. And that is how we transition into hour number 4. Already, John Glennon will join us at 9:20, give his thoughts on the biggest priorities heading into the offseason and the biggest reason why today is an offseason show and not a postseason preview show. We wrap things up. Hour number 4. 4's up for the 4th hour when we come back. 104.5 The Zone.
9:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. It's clean out day for the Tennessee Titans at St. Thomas Sports Park after the Titans fell to the Jaguars 20-16 on Saturday night. It was their 7th straight loss, kept them from winning the AFC South and securing a playoff spot. Mike Vrabel's press conference to wrap up the season, 11:30 this morning, which you can hear during the Buck Rising Show. Meanwhile, it's Black Monday around the league as the Houston Texans have fired Lovie Smith after just one season as head coach. The Cleveland Browns fired defensive coordinator Joe Woods. The college football playoff national championship game tonight. Number 1 Georgia taking on number 3 TCU. Kickoff set for 6:30 at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. And women's hoops from yesterday, the Lady Vols defeated Vanderbilt 84-71. For any foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
And the show goes on for 60 more minutes. On about Kayla and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. The show might only last for 60 more minutes today, but the off season is only beginning. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson and the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer, making the show happen.
The best producer in the world!
In the world. I'm Will Bowling. The phone number is 615-737-1045. John Glennon of SI.com coming up in 15 minutes. And a college football national championship that is also coming up tonight that we can't forget about.
Yes, forgot all about that one, man.
Talk a lot more about that tomorrow than we will today, as we are 4 hours of Overreaction Monday today.
Yeah. The focus is on what Ramon Foster has said. Rebuilding.
Really good end to the NFL season yesterday, just around the league. And we'll spend more time previewing playoff matchups and continuing on with Super Wildcard Weekend coming up this weekend. But we had 2 doinks in pivotal games from Mason Crossbary and from Jason Myers and Kayla Seattle Seahawks. Kayla Anderson carrying the flag forward into the NFL playoffs on this show. So
that dog, Geno
congratulations to Kayla. This is officially a Seahawks show, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks to the Lions, guys.
Future. Yeah,
thanks
that's
to the Lions.
You on the Geno train earlier this year, too.
I know.
You got your ticket early on the Geno train.
I'm like, Russ,
Sure
get
did.
out of here.
What does that say about Russ with this team that they have now with a lesser defense and everything? Like, and Walker, their young rookie, too.
Yeah.
3 straight games of 100 yards, too.
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they're laughing a little back
You
up
have
in
to.
the Pacific Northwest,
Mm-hmm.
especially the fans who, let me make this clear, did not like Russell Wilson, especially towards the end. Like, he won him a Super Bowl and give him credit for that, but that was a defense, too, that they had, Legion of Boom at the time.
100%. People always kind of say that,
Yeah.
and Russ always gets the benefit of the doubt.
How do they feel about Bobby Wagner now? Because
Good
he's
question.
in a similar situation.
Yeah. I think he was a little upset with it, how it all went down. And that's when we always talk about the business part of it, right?
Right.
Because that's kind of what you saw a little bit here with Jarrell Casey when that all went down. Initially, the first reaction, he was not happy. But they came around and, they retired his number here.
Right.
Or not number. He retired as a Titan, excuse me. And so they came back to making things work.
Yep.
But it's not like Bobby Wagner had a bad down season also, though. I mean, 140 tackles, 81 solo, 2 interceptions. He had a solid year, but I feel you on that. Dang, he had 6 sacks, too?
Jarrell Casey was the same way, though, coming off 2019. I mean, you think about Lamar Jackson's fumbles and interceptions he threw in the 2019 AFC divisional round. Jarrell Casey was a big reason why.
Right.
He had one of his best games ever in a Titans uniform and his last ever win in a Titans uniform.
They just saw kind of, again, this is John Robinson thing. He was getting older.
Mm-hmm.
The best years were behind him, so they said, bye.
Let's move on. Yeah.
Now, I don't think they did it the right way, perhaps, in Seattle.
Yeah.
in terms of,
Well, people argue that also, too, with Casey here.
and that's an argument too.
I remember when that happened. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know. I think we all kind of were like,
That one, I think that, I mean, the way they did the move, you could probably argue, and we don't know the details on that, but it was, I think, the right decision at the right time.
In that situation, the only drawback I had on it was, dang, you send a guy like him to Denver? And I think that was post-Super Bowl, post-everything happening well in
right.
Denver at the time.
And then he didn't. Unfortunately, he then had an injury that ended.
That Denver team wasn't very good.
No, and that's why I'm saying, like, a guy, that's the only drawback I'd have. I was like, send a guy like him, however you have to a contender if you're not contending at the time.
Yep.
You know, but it's business.
615-737-1045, our number this morning. Dominic is in Nashville up next. What's going on, Dominic?
What's up, Dominic?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Good.
Pretty
Good
good.
morning.
And ladies, how y'all doing?
You can call me fellas, right?
I just wanted to point out that a couple things. Will hit on the head, and everybody's, reiterated the same thing. We knew we were kind of on a rebuild when they let go of AJ. You want to take away a quarterback's number one target and somebody he can trust in to go to on third downs or whatever, and get rid of him. For a rookie, you're hoping to take his place, but that wasn't a good fit in my mind. I was upset. I'm not gonna lie about it. But if they wanted to run something back, they should have ran back 2021, 2022, 2021 with how many games did AJ, Julio, and Derrick Henry actually play together? Like, if anything, cut Julio some of his money, say, show me. And, why didn't we keep, if you wanted a 1-2 punch, why didn't we keep, what's the running back?
Hilliard? Or Foreman.
Foreman. He was cutting up, just like, we discussed this too. Foreman should have got more of the tick in that playoff game.
Yeah.
But the reason we lost that game is because the first pass Tannehill threw was interception, and his last pass was interception. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Foreman was having the best game. He should have got more tick. And there's your 1-2 punch right there. Why aren't we paying these guys? Why do we choose to pay some of these other people? We basically got AJ all good and warmed up when we let him go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's upsetting sometimes when we don't want to pay and you see other teams pay their actual stars and they go on to do good things, staying in the system, and people want to come play with that. When you're constantly letting people go, Tannehill had nobody to go to but a rookie who you're naming the number one guy who you want to go to.
Yep.
It's upsetting sometimes. We should pay these guys and try to keep them. If they wanted to run something back, they should have ran that back and just kind of move money around. Because actually, how many games did Julio, AJ, and Derek all play together?
Like
actually?
4,
I believe it was
5.
4.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it, Dominic.
Can we end this one misnomer right now?
Go ahead.
Please
It's not
do.
that they don't pay.
Yes.
It's not that they don't pay. They may get it wrong. And you can look at Julio, who they did pay, which I didn't like the guaranteed contract they gave Julio. They paid Harold Landry. They paid KB. They paid Lawan. They paid Tannehill. They paid Derek.
Amani.
They paid Amani at a good rate, actually, with Amani.
Yeah, they did.
They are paying guys. Whether they're working out is a different thing. That distinction needs to be made because we don't pay anybody has been existing since this team came into town, and it's not correct.
I think you just see what happens after they leave, like Conklin, like AJ after he leaves.
It's a different conversation.
Saffold
even. But even Deontay Foreman almost had 1,000 yards this year. You also look at other situations.
I totally agree with Foreman.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the Foreman thing because he only left for basically $2 million a year.
That's light work.
I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah, and then you also, there's other guys in this league. Khalif Raymond still having a decent season. Josh Reynolds having.
Josh Reynolds was nothing here and then goes to Detroit.
Yeah.
But you don't have a passing offense to kind of highlight that.
Reynolds that's as much about Josh Reynolds. And I think a lot of these guys.
You think?
Did those people really want to be here? Was Deontay Foreman going to sign for any number to be a backup running back?
Deontay was on this. Yeah. Well,
So
Deontay
Derrick
was
Henry?
on the streets when they brought him here.
Right.
And then
he signed as
I don't
a free
think he would
agent.
want to be a back. I think there's a lot of that's interesting to have both those guys in the locker room.
The Josh Reynolds
yeah,
one.
I don't know about that.
It never felt like that guy wanted to be here.
No, it didn't.
It
That's
did.
what was weird.
That was
I
the
never
vibe.
got that vibe. Even seeing him in practice, I was like, does this guy want to be here?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
By the way, I saw real quick from Jim Wyatt. He has an article up right now. controlling owner Amy Adams-Strunk discussing the process, what she's looking for in the next GM. Interview set to begin this week.
Yeah, the first quote from that article with Jim Wyatt saying, Amy Adams-Strunk quoted as saying, "We've been working on it for at least 4 weeks now," when she talks about the process of finding the next GM, saying, "I'd like to have a GM as soon as possible, but we're not going to rush the process just to get someone in as quickly as possible. The way we have it planned right now is we have 2 rounds, and we're going to see where these interviews take us." She adds that they've cast a wide net, going to interview as many people as we need to. Says, "I have a lot of people I want to interview. It's going to be extensive." And you have got the committee that she has made, which she says includes herself, Kenneth Adams, Burke Nihill, President and CEO, Senior VP of Business Affairs, Chief Legal Officer Adolfo Birch, Senior VP and General Counsel and Chief of Staff Dan Worley. And then the line right after that says, "At some point, Titans head coach Mike Vrabel will also be a part of the process."
Oh.
Okay.
Is this
Directly from Jim Wyatt on TennesseeTitans.com as of a couple of minutes ago.
probably in the finalist round of interviews?
Says Amy Adams-Strunk, quoted as saying, "The GM and the head coach are going to report to me, but as an organization, we expect a culture of working together."
Right.
Quote, "I think collaboration amongst all of us is going to be important to take that next step in the goal of winning a championship. The 2 of them are going to report to me, but the 2 of them are going to be working together to get us the best team we can possibly have."
Wow.
Collaboration.
So there's Jim Wyatt to Titans.com quoting and interviewing Amy Adams-Strunk. That is a good read for anyone to kind of see the first step in this process, which begins today on Locker Room Cleanout Day at St. Thomas Sports Park. 615-737-1045. We'll save the phone calls for the very end of the show because coming up next, we chat with our friend John Glennon, who covers the Titans for SI.com. The biggest reason why today is an offseason and not a postseason conversation, and the biggest reason why the Jacksonville Jaguars are able to beat the Tennessee Titans. John Glennon up next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
If you have a wet basement or crawl space, guess what? It's time to call United Structural Systems. We've all heard about these guys for a long time, and for good reason. They've served Middle Tennessee since 1994, and they've helped thousands of satisfied residential customers. They are the go-to company when it comes to foundation repair and waterproofing. If you have a wet basement or crawl space, you don't have to put up with that. Water intrusion and moisture could give all sorts of problems down the road, and you want to get this fixed ASAP. It could be because you have poor drainage or surface water flooding over the walls, or underwater pressure forcing water into your basement, or it could be a plumbing leak you just don't know. But the team at United Structural Systems will find out why you have a wet basement or crawl space and will give you a plan to fix it. If you decide to move forward, you don't have to pay a dime until the work is done and you are satisfied. Get that free estimate from the people I trust. Go to USSTN.com. Again, it's USSTN.com, or call them 615-227-2275. Again, the number is 615-227-2275. United Structural Systems.
It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, right here at 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Boulding with you as we go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, continuing to talk Titans this morning. Check in with our friend John Glennon, covering the Titans for SI.com. Good morning, John. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you all?
Hey, JJ.
We're good, John, and it is an off-season show and not a postseason show for a number of reasons today. As you look back at this game, we'll start with Jacksonville on Saturday. What was your biggest takeaway from the way this one ended for Tennessee?
To me, it was a common theme, that eventually played out for the Titans, and that was just a simple fact that this team could not score enough points, and if you want to get even more specific, could not score enough points in the second half to win on any kind of a regular basis. Now, you can point the finger at plenty of different things. Injuries, huge, absolutely no doubt about it. Inadequate personnel, too. I think, obviously we all saw what A.J. Brown did this season in Philadelphia and what he might have done if things had stayed differently here. But that's the bottom line, to me, is that there just wasn't enough firepower. There were too many turnovers. But when your offense, you finished 30th overall in offense, 28th in points, 30th in passing, it's just not good enough. It's not going to get it done, and it didn't work against Jacksonville.
John Glennon, our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. John, it really does feel poetic that this game really ended the way the Titans season went all year, right? With just the pass protection and the second half scoring, like you mentioned. As you look at the long list of things that need to be corrected this offseason, we could take it a number of different ways. But what is priority one for you as we begin offseason conversation here today?
It's hard for me to look past the offensive line, I would say, and specifically, we all know how important that left tackle position, how the Titans suffered at that spot too, and really, as you look at that roster now, and it seems very likely Taylor Lewan is going to be cut. A replacement is probably not there on the roster right now, so to me, that kind of stands out like a sore thumb. But you look across that offensive line as well. If you move Aaron Brewer, say, from left guard to center, well, you need a left guard. Then you look over at right guard. Okay, is Nate Davis going to be back? He needs a new contract if he is. So you need help there, or you need to re-sign him. So those, to me, are the major, is the biggest question mark, the offensive line. But there are other spots as well. Certainly, I think you need more help at the wide receiver position. You got a rising number one in Treylon Burks, who's still kind of a work in progress, though. But who's your number two right now, especially if Robert Woods is gone next year? I still think you need help there, and you hate to look at the secondary again and say it probably needs a high pick. But when you finish so poorly in pass defense, even given the number of injuries, I think that has to be a priority as well.
JG, the conversation we've had this morning is the two R words, man. Where are you at on the spectrum of, the reality of this team? Are you closer to a reload? Or are you closer to saying, man, no, this is a rebuild?
Yeah, I lean more towards a little bit of a reload at that position, I think, or for this team. And I think some of the reasons, some of the key players, certainly right now are kind of moving up in age, or, we have seen them injured of late. So to me, you kind of need some new building blocks, I think, especially on offense. And you wonder, this offense for years has been very successful for the most part, running through Derrick Henry. But does that continue now? Derrick Henry is not getting any younger, still successful. But, and if you make that decision, if you say, okay, this offense isn't automatically going to run through Derrick Henry anymore, to me, that all of a sudden you're leaning more towards a reload, towards a rebuild at that point than a reload.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think you can almost split it up. Defensively, I don't think this is a complete blow it up, rebuild everything, because I still think there's some good talent, some good building blocks there. Offensively, there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, it is. And moving forward to us, Miss Amy Adams-Strunk is, in the process of hiring a GM. What has to be the main stickler for a guy if it's an outsider taking this job as the Titans' new GM? What is the number one thing you'd expect her to really want to be hammered down?
I think certainly, as we've said, you've got to make that early decision as to whether it is, tweaks here and there or whether you're kind of blowing it up and starting from scratch. The last general manager the Titans had, John Robinson, clearly came in and it was going to be a blow it up and started from scratch. He traded away the number one pick, got a number one draft picks, got draft picks for that and got the Titans off to a good start in that manner. So I think that's the very first decision that needs to be made. And I was just reading, as you mentioned that, I was reading Jim Wyatt's interview with Amy Adams-Strunk earlier today too, and I noticed her focus, you always try and parse words and quotes and so forth, but I noticed collaborator. She emphasizes she wants someone who collaborates well with others. And again, maybe you're looking too closely at words, but you get the sense that she wants to build consensus in the organization a little bit more, and maybe, and again, this is speculating, this is hypothetical, maybe not as many radical moves perhaps as we saw under John Robinson. Maybe a little bit more of a cautious approach. Again, that's all to be worked out over the next few weeks or even months as she makes her continues her search.
So there are a lot of people wondering what could possibly happen at the quarterback position. My guess is that you keep Tannehill for another year. You make Josh Dobbs possibly the backup or let Malik and him compete. Maybe keep Malik on the practice squad. I mean, he could go at any point if someone takes him. But is that kind of how you're looking at it, or do you have a different kind of look at how things could go at the quarterback position next year?
I think that is my gut reaction right now. Now, if you want to take a more radical approach, we know that the Titans are going to be picking 11th in the draft, which is, much closer to the bottom of the draft or the top, however you want to look at it, than we have seen in years past. So, if there's a quarterback there, perchance that they like, do they jump in there or more likely, if they want to move up a few spots, it's not nearly as many as we thought they might have to in order to pick a quarterback. So that's one option, if you want to go in that direction. But otherwise, despite the fact Ryan Tannehill has a very big cap hit right now, I still think he is your best option as a starter moving forward. I don't see, Malik Willis being ready to start at the beginning of next year. So maybe you try to restructure that Ryan Tannehill contract, get him back in here for a more cap-friendly deal. I think he's the best bet. But to me, behind that, it's obviously much more wide open than we thought it was even just a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
At that point, Malik Willis appeared to be the guy of the future, certainly seemed to be getting groomed for the future. But all of a sudden, if you bring in Josh Dobbs from another team's practice squad, and in a matter of a few days, he's your starting guy over Malik Willis, to me that kind of clouds the future. And I know Malik Willis wasn't expected to start this year,
right?
But at the same time, he'd already had 3 starts to that point. He'd been in your organization since April, and when you're saying Josh Dobbs is a better guy at that point, I think that's the red flag. So. I certainly see them trying to bring Josh Dobbs back, and I would envision a competition between he and Malik Willis if they are able to bring Josh Dobbs back.
JG, the one thing that I think you have to look at if you're Amy Adams-Strunk in terms of maybe even investigating, that might be a too harsh of a word, but just really looking deep into how things are getting done with the training staff. I'm not sitting here saying fire the strength and conditioning coach, but it has to be looked at, right? And what can they do to try to help at least some of these soft tissue injuries or just the way that they're going about their business? Because at this point, 2 seasons with using that many players in a season is I don't think it's just like bad luck.
Yeah, if we're sitting here next year and we're talking about injuries as being the biggest storyline of the season. I think Titans fans are going to lose their minds, and I think understandably so. Again, can strength and conditioning coaches be blamed when players' ankles get rolled up or when ACL tears happen? No, I don't think that's their fault. But when we see the hamstrings, the groins, those type of injuries come back on a regular basis and really cause problems, that's when you have to, I think, question, what your methods are. And again, as you said, it's one thing when you go through 91 players, as the Titans did in the 2021 season, say, okay, well, everybody has their ups and downs. When you come right back this year and you go through almost 90 players as well, when you lead the league, I think, with 33 players put on IR, I think they wound up the year with 23 on IR. In fact, more than half of the team's salary cap by the end of the year was on IR. I wish I had the medical expertise to say, here's how you do things better. I don't, but I know those guys are getting paid to keep players on the field more often. So certainly there has to be some pretty intense scrutiny of what they can do better moving forward.
John Glennon, our guest this morning at Glennon Sports on Twitter here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. John, your gut feeling right now on Todd Downing, is he the offensive coordinator next season?
If I had to put $1 or $2 on it, I would say not. To me, it's one thing. I don't especially enjoy, watching a game and every play questioning what the offensive coordinator did, or, hey, he should have done this on every single play. To me, I kind of look at a big picture, in terms of potentially making coaching changes. But when you look at what Todd Downing has done on 2 years in the job, and we have seen the numbers drop, in some cases pretty significantly in a number of different statistical areas, I think to me that's more telling than questioning every single play and every handoff to Derrick Henry and every potential trick play. I think you have to ask what got better, or at least what has gotten better on Todd Downing's watch. And I think it takes a minute or two, before you come up with some things, and that's a pretty telling sign. So do I know anything for sure? No, I don't. But to me, if you look at the big picture numbers and how things have slid over the past couple of years, and certainly Todd Downing is not all to blame. He didn't have the personnel that was there before. He had dealt with a ridiculous amount of injuries. We've gone over that as well. But big picture, I think there needs to be a change there.
John, with the 7-game skid, I don't think we've spoken enough about that. Personal stuff that happens to a guy while being employed by an NFL team can play a part in some stuff. What switched from that Green Bay game to the 7-game skid, considering it was some lesser opponents that I thought you should have beaten and you just didn't? You understand what I'm saying? Like, could it have affected them? Did somebody else have input on the offense, or did he just lose sight of everything when it come down to Todd Downing post that situation?
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of factors that go into it, but as we talked about it, the bottom line was you just don't have enough punch at the end, and we've been over this plenty of times, but you look especially in the second half of these games all year, this team scored 94 points all year in the third and fourth quarters combined. That's 5.5 points a game on average in the second half. It's kind of mind blowing in that regard, and it's just not going to get you enough wins. Clearly, I think the Titans, again, as I mentioned earlier, you wind up right near the bottom of the league in terms of only averaging 18 points a game or so. And as I say, big picture, you just can't point to enough good things that have happened under Todd Downing's watch, as opposed to the slide that we have seen in a number of different categories.
John, go ahead.
Can I just ask one more thing for me, is the special teams. What do you feel like needs to be improved next year, specifically with special teams?
I think certainly, that's going to be an area of scrutiny as well. Punt returns, are an issue. I think, Kyle Phillips, had some promise early, but all of a sudden he showed the fumbleitis. The next thing he was injured as well, so we never really got a chance to see what he might have brought to the table if that had turned around. I think clearly they have a bright spot in a guy like a Ryan Stonehouse, who looks to be a punter for the next decade or so, but even he can tune things up a little bit, as Mike Vrabel has mentioned, in terms of hang time, in terms of directional punting. Those are things that can be worked on as well. I think probably second behind the offense is special teams.
Yep.
That's an area that needs to be retooled as well.
John, we played Jeffrey Simmons' comments earlier on in the show about him having to, in his own words, shoot up his ankle since week 8 just to play. How eye-opening were his comments? How much of a priority is it for the next general manager to find a long-term solution for him staying in Tennessee?
Yeah, it's got to be done. That has to be a top priority. And, I don't think we saw certainly the full impact Jeffrey Simmons this year as we have seen in the past, but I think there's a direct correlation, between when that injury happened. And specifically, I think we can look back at, I think it was the Kansas City game that he kind of aggravated that initial ankle injury. And when you look at the numbers pre-Kansas City and post-Kansas City, pretty significant difference. So I think Jeffrey Simmons, when at full strength, is still every bit the force to be reckoned with that we have seen before. And as you mentioned, that clip of Jeffrey Simmons, that kind of shows me, as we've all known, the kind of heart and soul player this guy is as well. We wondered, if there might be a contract issue even coming into this year that they didn't, get a long-term deal done with Jeffrey Simmons. Understandable that they didn't. He still had 2 years left on his contract. But this is the kind of guy that you have to get done before his contract expires. This kind of thing has to be done this off season. And they've done that in the past. Guys like Taylor Lewan, Kevin Byard, Derrick Henry, they've been able to get them done before the contracts expire. Jeffrey Simmons has to be next on that list.
John Glennon has been our guest here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will at Glennon Sports, where you can find him covering the Titans. John, appreciate the time as always.
Okay, thanks, Peeps. I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
JG.
There is John Glennon with us this morning on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. And again, it is certainly an interesting day. And Mike Vrabel will speak to the media in just under 2 hours at 11:30 this morning. You'll be able to hear that live on the Buck Rising Show.
Mm-hmm.
One final break. We'll get to Steven on the phone lines. Last call for phone calls on the last Reaction Monday of the season at 615-737-1045. Coming up next, wrapping up the show, Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 1045 The Zone. One final segment this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Kayla Anderson off to the Titans locker room for clean out day. With Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling. Jonathan Schaefer, our producer. Not a fun day, locker clean out day, I would imagine.
It's not, especially when you got to clean it out early like this.
If it's a fun day, then you're probably in the wrong place.
Yeah, well, you don't usually clean out your locker if you won in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you know, so tough day today. A lot of guys, a few guys, it'd be the last time putting on a uniform.
Were you a messy or a clean locker guy?
I was a double locker guy, so I kept it pretty clean.
Oh, a hard flex.
Yeah, that was a cool flex right there. You got to stick around a little long to get 2 lockers.
How long did you have 2 lockers?
I had 2 lockers like 6 years or so.
So
if not
you're like
longer.
5 or 6 is when you got about halfway through?
Yeah, about halfway through is when I got the double locker.
Good.
We do not care.
I was relatively clean though because I didn't want to tick off the managers around, equipment managers. They got to clean up everybody's stuff. And I hated guys to be that disgusting, leaving girdles and jock straps everywhere, and it's filthy. Like, come on, man, be better.
To be fair, Ramon's a pretty clean dude.
I
We joke around about him not taking showers often enough, but that's actually not a true statement.
Took a shower after my workout today.
Well, it's funny because you never know when people are just organized in their work self, and then when they get to work, like they're different.
Yeah.
Because I'm really organized when it comes to work, and then when it comes to not work, I just could not.
just
be
shut
more.
off.
I just stuff everywhere.
You're putting up too much effort here, Will. No, I'm playing. You're supposed to.
I have to be organized because I got to take care of all y'all's asses.
Yeah, well, that's part of it too, though, Shafe.
It's a job.
You don't get the label for nothing.
Oh, no, I understand. I was just saying a statement of fact. I wasn't even really complaining.
Oh, okay. But the stuff you clean out today, man, you leave cleats for the most part. You'll grab some shorts or a sweatshirt to take home with you. Deodorant, body wash, stuff like that stays. Pictures usually stay. Locker clean out really is just off-season preparation to work out. Sure. What cleats do I need? Can I take these shoes? Everything else stays because you plan on being back until you get that box in FedEx with all your equipment in it.
If you're leaving the team, it's I threw your picture away.
So what you're saying is if you're Dennis Daly, make sure you got everything boxed up.
Oh,
right?
Man, listen to me. If I was Dennis Daly, I'm sure he's heard so much of this from the crowd. I'd be like, you know what? Give me everything I need. If there's anything that's two-tone blue, you leave it because I don't need y'all and y'all don't need me.
Wow. He's not going to talk today.
We
haven't heard from the guy all year.
If there is a time to do it now.
We haven't heard from the guy all year.
I know, Will. I'm hopeful. You know I'm an optimist.
Steven in Nashville hanging on to get in with us on the phone lines. Good morning, Steven. How are you?
What's up, Steven?
I'm great. How are y'all guys doing?
Good. Good morning.
Good. Well, I know this is kind of a crappy day for all this. But first of all, first-time caller. Love the show.
Thanks.
I've been listening to y'all every morning, so absolutely love it. Ramon, I got some good news for you, man. This will hopefully make you happy.
Let's go.
Found out a few weeks ago my son is going to be a volunteer.
Let's go. Love that.
Congratulations
to you.
That's right.
Yeah, it was definitely a great
Hell
day for our household when we found that out.
What y'all were where? You on the boat too? Where?
No. No, we were at the house. We found that out a few weeks ago. But he showed interest for UT and ended up taking him to our first game at Neyland, and it was the Alabama game.
Oh, okay.
So,
very nice.
Set the bar very high.
Clarify, he's going as a student or as an athlete? Which one? Or student athlete?
Well, he's going as a student, and he's going to take the year off, and he may try to walk on his sophomore year.
Sweet.
He just, he's been playing since he was 5, so he's like, I need a break. So I understand that. Yeah, and if you're going to go pre-med, put the nose in the books.
Oh, 100.
Let's do this right.
Yeah.
Let's do this right. As for the Titans, man, that's kind of a little touchy subject with the OC there. There's two things. You got to have an OC to call the right plays. You can't be predictable like we were. What did we pass on 4 of our first downs? And every other first down we either gave to Henry or the other running back.
Yep.
And 2, you got to have the people on that line to produce to make the plays go.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a little bit of fault of the OC, a little bit of fault of, our offensive line. Heard people talk about we need to pay these guys. Well, you go back and look, historically, you start paying somebody, they start falling downhill. Look at Chris Johnson, get that big old contract, and he just went downhill. Taylor Lewan got that big old contract. You started seeing signs of him going downhill, then the injuries. So, it's just like it's a double-edged sword. If you pay somebody, you want to keep them. But, but somebody like A.J. Brown, I think we should have did what we had to do to keep him because he was our only weapon. But yeah,
absolutely.
It's a rough year to be a Titans fan. It's a great year to be a Vols fan. And I am definitely now more of a Vols fan than I ever have been. I've always kind of liked the Vols, but I've always liked another independent team.
Right.
Notre Dame. No, I've always been an Irish fan, but the Vols have definitely won my family over, and that campus has definitely won my son over, so I'm glad he's going to be going there.
That's awesome.
I know Ramon, who's going to maybe smile a little bit knowing another Vol going.
I love it. Appreciate the call,
Thank
Steven.
you for the call. Appreciate it on the
anytime.
first time, too, man. That's awesome.
No, I think it's a lot of good points. It's a nuanced issue with this offense right now.
Yeah.
It is O-line, and it is personnel, and it is a little bit of everything. That's for sure.
Did you say it's a nuanced issue?
Yes.
There ain't nothing nuanced about that. They all suck.
Okay.
That's not nuanced.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Well, it's a
Badal.
nuanced issue that it's not one issue that's the entire problem. There's 3 or 4 different elements to the problem.
It's just bad.
Okay. All right. The Buck Rising Show will have Mike Vrabel's beginning of off-season press conference at 11:30. We are back at it tomorrow morning. Looking forward to a good conversation, by the way, tomorrow with Mike Giannitti of Spot Track. Tune in for that tomorrow. A contract guru that can give us the details on where the Titans can go next and what financially makes the most sense. And that starts at quarterback.
Yeah.
With Ryan Tannehill. So we'll get the financial implications of that, how the Titans could restructure his deal. Looking forward to show number 2 of the offseason tomorrow morning. We're back at it at 6 a.m. And before we get out of the way, Ramon Foster tells you words of wisdom for your midseason, your offseason, or anything in between.
Remember, please, on Black Monday, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.